Bam, we're live. I started a couple minutes early today. I wanted to share something with you guys. I've been having some great conversations in my DMs. What's up, dude?
Hey, your voice sounds better.
Oh, it does? Okay, good. I actually woke up this morning with no sore throat. A lot of you have been questioning me, like, why am I defending the Liver King, or how come I'm not going at the Liver King, or whatever. First of all, I don't think I'm defending him, but it's really stirred up some fun ideas in my head. Probably my closest friends in the world. Several of my closest friends in the world. These are people like, if my wife kicked me out of the house, I could go sleep on their couch. And I'm very fortunate to have a lot of those people. And fortunate, I don't think my wife would do that to me. They don't have any integrity. And I'm not worried about the integrity of other people for the most part. Zero. I'm worried about my own integrity. I'm only worried about my own integrity. I don't project my integrity. I don't need other people around me to have integrity, except for very few cases. Integrity is something that I work on so that I can be free in the world. I'm only concerned about my own honesty. I'm not concerned about other people's honesty. Some of my nicest, most compassionate friends in the entire world have almost no integrity. They don't even know what it is. I remember when I didn't know what it was. I would have never met Dave Castro. I wouldn't know what integrity is. I'm not worried about Dave's integrity. I'm worried about what I can learn from him so that I can have integrity, so I can flow more easily in the world. I guarantee you Dale knows a shitload of people who have zero integrity. And do you know what tool he uses that dwarfs integrity 10 out of 10 times every day of the fucking week? How you pick your friends? People who have compassion. That's a fucking, now we're talking about a real noble trait. Compassion. Sevan, what is compassion? Yo, you want to take a shot at that?
Man.
As I just put you on the spot.
Good fucking morning, America.
There's some tools that you use to look at yourself with, and there's some you use to judge other people with. When you're walking down aisle 7 and you're 5'5" and you can't reach something on the top, I judge people by their height. I see fucking Caleb walking by 6'2", and I say, hey, can you get me that box of soap? I'm not worried about, I'm not worried. You got it. Thank you. Caleb Beaver Dale King.
Oh, I know Caleb.
I just, I'm not here to, let me give you an example of my friend. So many of my friends are nice and they compromise their integrity because they want to be nice. It's like the entire left where I come from. Everyone is so fucking nice, but they'll lie through their teeth to you not to hurt your feelings. Mm. And, anyway, I just want, we'll talk more about that as time goes on, but there are traits that I really, I'm a huge fan of cultivating my own integrity, but I have some really dishonest friends who are my greatest friends in the world, and it doesn't bother me in the slightest. Why would I care if someone lied to me? Now, you can think of some circumstances. I don't want them to tell me the light is green when it's red, and I step on the gas and get fucking hit. But a lot of shit, a lot of these tools and things we talk about, they're to work on yourself. The Bible's a beautiful book when you point it at yourself. It's fucking evil as fuck when you point it at other people. Mm. You want to set men free. Men should feel free around you and safe. Not held to your judgment. There's this Taoist saying, trust people and they become trustworthy. I've seen it happen. Hi, Dale. I tried to get on here a few minutes early to get through my rant before you got on.
No, hey, man, I wish I was there from the beginning.
Yeah, well, you heard most of it.
That is fantastic. How are you, Caleb? Good to see you, buddy.
Good to see you, too. It's been a while.
Are we operationally secured? Are we allowed to say where you're at, or how's that go?
No, we just say we're in an undisclosed location for now.
Well,
so
different time zone.
Gotcha. Hey, man,
a little warm.
Before I launch into what the hell we're getting ready into, man, I'm fucking proud of you, and thanks for what you do, man.
Thank you, Dale. I appreciate that.
So there's this gym. It's called CrossFit PSKC. And a bunch of people were telling me how cool it is. So I reached out to CrossFit PSKC.
Yep.
And I said, hey, would you like to come on my podcast? And I know Dale. And Dale goes, Sevan? I'm like, what? He goes, this is Dale. I'm like, oh, well, that worked out. That worked out nicely.
Yeah, I thought you got hacked.
So fair assessment. Portsmouth, Ohio. Arguably the opioid capital of the world at some point, or at least that was that definitely of Ohio. When you say like that's the prettiest girl in my college, and someone's like, you said that yesterday. You're like, yeah, there's like 200 of them here. Unfortunately, it's like that with cities that are like murder capitals and opioid capitals. There's a handful of them that are like tied for number one.
Yeah, it's very time dependent as well. But we are definitely at one point the pill mill capital of America for sure.
Did you coin that term, pill mill?
No, that was around for a while. I think that started coming out in the late 90s.
I liked it. I was watching your I don't know if it was, I watched a bunch of your interviews. I don't know if it was on Fox or your TED Talk, but when I heard that, I was like, oh, that has a nice ring to it.
Mm-hmm.
The pill mill. A pill mill is an illegal facility that resembles a regular pain clinic, but regularly prescribes painkillers without sufficient medical history. Oh shit! I didn't even know it had a term like this. Physical examination, diagnosis, medical monitoring, and documentation. When you said pill mill, I just thought it was just like tongue in cheek.
No, it was definitely a real thing, and unfortunately, the guy who developed that business model was here in Portsmouth in the 90s.
Oh shit!
Yeah. So
when you say business model, it's illegal, right? It's like saying my buddy grows weed and sells it illegally. He developed that model.
It's illegal now. At the time, it was not illegal. So, we have a lot of things kind of coinciding at that period in history. But, the Sackler family started just dumping millions of pain pills, Oxycontins. And then they really kind of got connected with physicians because they have to be the pushers of their product. And the easiest way to do it is open up a pain clinic, and you get people to come in and say, hey, does your back hurt? And you're kind of like nodding them through the process. And if they got $100 cash, they leave with a script full of Oxy.
Wow. I'm glad I never found out about one of those places.
Yeah, man. It really, there's a couple really good pieces of media to read and watch. The first one's called Dreamland. That's by Sam Quinones. And that's really kind of viewed as the standard when it talks about telling the story of how the opioid crisis happened in America. And Dreamland refers to Dreamland Pool, which was here in Portsmouth. It was like your quintessential small town American gathering place through the 80s and 90s. And then it closed down. And then the book kind of highlights what happened after that pool closed down and the devastation from the opioid crisis from there on out. But
like a local pool where all the kids go swimming in the summer.
Yep.
Hey, and what's the second movie?
Well, I think everyone's kind of more familiar with this. It's on Hulu. Dopesick.
And you're the executive producer of a movie. Has that movie been finished?
We just
Strongtown. What is it?
Small Town Strong.
Small Town Strong.
Yep. We just got the rough cut this morning, the final cut this morning. And
congrats.
Thanks, man. Dude, by the way, like I've got a small glimpse into what your world has been. I assume the last 20 years as far as production and documentary. Holy shit, man. That is a wild, bizarre, chaotic, insane world. But we got the final cut done, and we're hoping to submit to Tribeca Film Festival within the next week or two to get in there.
I was concerned for you when I saw you were the executive producer because movies are not a I don't know how to say it.
But this way, I've written off what I've invested in, and just
it's a tough road to toe. For every second counts. When I made that, we finished filming that 2008, right after the games at Aromas, and I worked on that. No exaggeration. I think I may even be conservative, 12 hours a day, every day for 6 months.
Yep.
Just sitting in front of my computer. It was crazy.
Yep. That's my buddy's life right now. He's the other exec. He's a director on it. And luckily it timed him right to where he's devoting literally every waking second to getting it done.
And this is Chase and Spencer Millsap.
Yep. So it's Chase Millsap. He's a great fucking guy, man. He's got his own wild story, but he was a Naval Academy grad, was a Marine Corps officer, decided that Marine Corps wasn't cool enough. So he jumped services to become a Green Beret officer.
Wow.
And then married a girl that I went to high school with.
Wow. Is he born in Portsmouth?
No, he's a Texas kid.
Wow. Small world.
Dude. So long story, we ended up going on Shark Tank, and he and his wife were living in Hollywood, and I went out there, and that was the first time I met him in 2016. And we became best friends ever since then.
Why did you meet him when you went out there for Shark Tank?
So his wife, Miley, was the girl I went to high school with. And they're like, hey, she was always like, hey, if you're ever in LA or Hollywood, come out and hang out. And so that's how we hooked up.
How old are you?
I'll be 42 next month.
Oh, okay. Alrighty. Where were you? You're born in Portsmouth?
Born and raised, my friend.
And what's the population there?
The city is around 20,000. The county's like 75,000.
Wow. So tiny county. So maybe not. Is there even a city in the county, or is it all just incorporated?
No, Portsmouth is the capital of the county, if you will.
So there are no cities in there.
There's like
by cities, I mean, no one has their own police department. It's just all one. In California, we have counties, and then within them, they have their own shit. But when you only have 75,000 people in the county, I'm guessing you don't do that.
We have the Portsmouth Police Department, and then everything out in the county is the sheriff's.
Okay.
Yep.
Wow, 75,000. Maybe pull out a little bit more, kid. I want to see like where it is, like compared to like Columbus or any of the cities that I know. Oh, there's Cincinnati.
Yep.
Oh, and there's Columbus. What's south? What state is that south of there?
We're right on the border of Kentucky.
Okay. Wow. Okay. Yeah, I'll say you're Kentucky then.
I prefer the term Appalachian American.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. Where are the Appalachian Mountains? They're further east of you?
They're a little south.
You're at the base of them, kind. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Like we're considered tri-state area, so Ohio, Kentucky, West Virginia.
How old is Portsmouth? Portsmouth.
I want to say like 1883 it was incorporated, or maybe 43.
How did your parents end up there?
Man, so my dad was born out in the sticks. So my dad's 85, so he was way a little older when I came around. Was born out in this town called Stockdale, which I don't know, has probably 8 people in it. And then my mom was born in Memphis. Both of these places are in the county. And dad served in the military for a long time. My mom was a nurse. Dad has a whole other first family out in the West Coast. He was a rancher for a while, has all kinds of crazy stories, but got a divorce from his first wife and basically just kind of like gave everything and moved back home to Portsmouth. Oh, so his family.
How did his family? Do you know how your grandparents ended up there? How do you end up somewhere like that?
I only know as far as my parents go. Okay. We go down a whole other hillbilly rabbit hole when we're talking like great grandparents and great grandparents.
Do you know what ethnicity you are?
Hillbilly, man. I have no fucking idea where the blood comes from.
Yeah. Okay. It's interesting because the people in the South, there's a lot of French people down there, right? I mean, like Louisiana and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
Those are, French colonists that came over, right? Ohio doesn't have something like that. Like Portsmouth isn't just all people from Denmark. Or
No,
like
it's a good mix of everybody.
And I'm guessing that when your dad was a kid, there were 1,000 people who lived there in dirt roads.
It probably actually when he was growing up, so we're talking 50s now, the population was significantly higher.
Oh, because of like some sort of an industry that was there?
So now we're talking like the heyday of like steel mill, coal plants, shoe factories, the whole deal. So I'd say it was significantly higher than it is now.
Ohio initially colonized by French fur traders. Ohio became a British colony possession following the French and Indian War in 1754. At the end of the American Revolution, Britain seceded control of the territory to the newly formed United States and incorporated. Okay, interesting. And how many? Do you know how many stoplights you have in your town? Is it one of those towns where
No, we've got several stoplights.
Several.
No Chipotle, but we got.
You don't have to brag, dude. I'm just asking simple questions. You don't have to get all puffy chested on me.
We'll eat some chicken out of the Sheetz gas station. You know what I'm saying?
All right. Oh, yes.
Nice.
Yes. Hey, Dale, do you know who Travis Bajan is?
Yeah.
So he lives in West Virginia, and the first time I went out there, oh, okay, wow. Okay, so it is developed.
Yep.
And that's a river there? Oh, no, that's just that is a river?
Mm-hmm. That's the Ohio River.
Wow, okay. So I was making a movie in, I don't know, 2003 or 4 called Pulling John about professional arm wrestling. And I went out there. Travis was one of the characters, and I went out there, and I had never seen anything like that at the point. And he's like, hey, let's go out to dinner. And we took our families out to dinner, and we went to Sheetz, and it was a gas station. And they had little, like 2 or 3 little tables in there. And like, we just like ordered hot dogs or some shit or chicken. And like you said, it was crazy.
That's fine cuisine.
It's not a gas station restaurant. It's a gas station with tables inside. I was like, wow, this is some ghetto shit.
Delicious.
Yeah. And then we traveled 30 miles to a Waffle House to go real big. So nuts.
It's a different world, man.
Yeah, it is such a different world. So you're born there, and what do you do there? What do you do there as a kid? Do you have siblings?
I have an older sister. Yeah, she's 3 years older than me.
And so you're born there, and pretty normal childhood?
Yeah, dude, it was great. Childhood revolved around sports, hanging out with friends, just like your typical small town America.
Riding bikes, stay out at night.
We're at by where the bikes were at in the yard. Just a really cool small town vibe. Everybody knows each other. Everybody has each other's back.
Cool. Drink a lot of Kool-Aid, Tang.
That's right. Yeah. Some Sunny D. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Save money and dilute the orange juice times 6.
Oh, yeah.
Every kid on the block can have some. And then at some point you decided to go into the U.S. military?
Yep. So I graduated in 99 from high school. And was fortunate enough, I applied and got an Army ROTC scholarship. So I went up to Columbus, to the big city. Went to school, small school called Capital University. And so I knew in 99, like that's the route I wanted to take, was to go be in the military. And then 9/11 happened. I think it was my junior year. Yeah, my junior year. And so we all knew it wasn't pretend anymore. Like we were going to go get after it when we all graduated.
Tell me what ROTC is.
Reserve Officer Training Corps. So it's like, so Caleb can chime in too, but there's a couple paths to become an officer in the military. I think everybody's familiar with the academy. The second way is ROTC. So basically, if you get a scholarship, whatever branch of the military will pay for your school. And like you're kind of like a part-time-ish, you're learning leadership basically while you're in college. And then you'll fulfill your active duty service obligation upon graduation. And then the third way is to go to officer candidate school and earn your commission that way.
Because I would see those guys around campus when I was in school, the ROTC guys, they always stuck together. They dressed different. I can't remember, but and they had their own little building. This was at UC Santa Barbara.
Yep.
So basically, when you see those kids on campus, those are kids who are doing 4 years of college, and then immediately they're going into the military.
Yes.
Any specific branch or all the different branches?
All branches have ROTC, and then it's
Okay.
really kind of up to that kid to determine which branch he wants to go into. But yeah, the day you graduate college, you commissioned as an officer the same day.
And why did you choose that path? Was it because your dad was in the military?
I'd say that has a lot to do with it. And I just really, was indoctrinated by Chuck Norris and Rambo movies growing up. And, I'd always look at all my dad's old military shit. And to me, that was just like the way. That's what I wanted to do.
You weren't scared?
No, man. No, I was like more excited. Like this is to me, like we come from a family of service. I had a lot of uncles that served in World War II and Vietnam. And so I just never wanted to sit around and not have a story to tell when I got older, I guess.
Interesting. I obviously grew up in California, and I think I was always afraid. When you turn 18, all of us have to register for the draft. So I went down to the post office, even though there was no chance of me getting going. But I think I was terrified. Like, oh shit, what if I have to do that? Isn't it interesting that, and it was definitely how I was raised culturally in California. I don't think I was alone like that. Not that there weren't, guys that weren't pussies, but I think there were a lot of us that were just like scared. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's like one of those things. Some people go in the military because it's a last resort. Some people feel called to do it, man. Like, yeah, I watched my dad grow up, and he never once. Actually, I told him I was going to enlist when I was like 15 or 16, and he.
Why are you laughing, Caleb? Because I told my parents the same thing, and awesome. My dad just about shit up a wreck.
Yeah, exactly. So my dad was an enlisted guy for 14 years. And he did a tour or two to Vietnam, and he was like, "No, you're not enlisting. I don't care what you think you're going to do, but you're not going to enlist." And I had even like gone to the recruiters, and I was going to be a Marine, probably because that's like they had the coolest shit at the time.
Yeah, their commercials were cool as shit. I definitely like their commercials.
You get a sword, dude. Come on.
Yeah, like fucking killing a dragon. How do you not want to do that?
Yeah.
And so I you get a whole swag bag full of shit. When you leave, and I put like the Marine Corps bumper sticker on my dad's car.
Wow.
Which my dad was in the Army, and
you love that.
That's awesome.
And the next day I looked back, and that sure as shit, that son of a bitch was like wiped right off of there. And he's like, "I don't know what you think you're doing, but you're definitely not going to enlist." He's like, if you want to go in, like you're going to go in as an officer. Which meant nothing to me. I had no idea conceptually what the difference was. But
right, I've had it explained to me 100 times, and I still don't know. I just like everyone's like, I went in as an officer. I went in as enlisted. I'm like, yeah, you went in and that's it. That's all I know. You went to Disneyland. I don't care if you got the season pass or fucking bought your shit individually. Okay, so you go in there and so immediately when you, like you said, 9/11 happened. So immediately, even though you're not in yet, you know that, oh shit, the anthill has been shaken and dudes are now leaving overseas to do shit. You're not going into a training camp. You're going into a path to a deployment, right?
Yep.
Basically everyone then, that's like predominantly what happened to people. And tell me about that. So what year do you go in and how quickly are you trained to deploy?
So to summer of 2003, I was in the Army now. And then depending on what you do within the branch that you're doing, you're going to go to like a school to learn more about that functional area of the military, essentially. So I went to military intelligence officer basic course down in Arizona. And then at that point, you're like getting your first assignment. So when you're done with your course, it's like, okay, what unit are you going to be a part of? And I was honestly like just trying to get on the next unit going out. And there came a really,
you were hungry to deploy.
Yeah. I didn't want to miss it, cause it was like, cause now depending on generationally, when you enter the Army, it's like okay, now we got a war going on. Like, this is why we joined, and you sure as fuck don't want to miss it. Like this, right. You don't want to miss that plane going out. So you're doing whatever you can to figure out who's going where.
Yeah, Caleb told me, if I recall, sorry if I'm misrepresenting you, Caleb. Caleb, when he said he was going, I'm like, why are you doing that? He's like, because I applied to leave. I'm like, are you fucking nuts?
I asked for it, yeah.
Yeah. And the thing is, it's like, you don't, I mean, at least for me, it's like, if you went in, like, you don't want to be all the way to like the 5-yard line and not try to score. You know what I mean?
Dave explained it to me like this too. I'm paraphrasing, and sorry, Dave, but I remember one time he had to come home for something. I can't remember what, and he was pissed. And I go, dude, what's the problem? And he goes, dude, it's like being a firefighter trained to put out fires, and all of a sudden you find out there's never going to be another fucking fire. It's like, I trained for this. I need to get back over there. And he hated the fact that he felt like he was letting his friends down. Yeah,
that's a huge part of it. Like, actually, once you get assigned to your unit and now you train with these guys, and if they're going and you don't go, man, like, that's like, for whatever reason. Now, some guys will scam, like they'll find ways not to deploy. There's goes out there like that. But if that's what you want, man, like, you're doing everything you can to get over there. So there was a cool opportunity so I was an intel guy. And they were like 10 Special Forces group had an opportunity for an intel officer to join their unit. So I was like, fuck, that's what I want to do. Like, put me on that. And so I showed up there in late 2003, 4, something like that. And we were going to Iraq in November of 2004.
Wow. And this 10 Special Forces group, what is that? And that's a good group to go with? There's other paths, and intelligence guy could have been put somewhere that's ass, and you're like, oh, these are going to be good to go with.
So an intel guy is like a combat support guy. So basically that means our specialty can go to any unit, right, and assist them in their intelligence operations.
Are you the little green guy with the radio on the back that I had? I had all those Army. You're the one with the.
that would, I mean, if that's the best analogy we got, that would
we'll start there.
We'll start there.
Okay.
We'll start there for sure. Okay. And intel guys straight out of school had not been allowed to go to Special Forces groups since Vietnam. So I was like, fuck, sign me up, let's roll. And they're literally
and basically what that means is, when you say Special Forces, for people who don't know, I think what he's saying is Special Forces are the guys who get their hands dirty. And so, like, you could have been put with a unit who's like, hey, watch that car park, and you could have been there for 3 years doing dick.
Yeah.
Special Forces they're like out there doing shit, and you're like, oh, these guys are going to be active. That's why you were excited?
Yes, yes, 100%.
Okay.
And they're literally, so everybody kind of throws the term Special Forces around as if like that's Navy SEALs, and there's special operations, right? There's special operations.
Okay. Special operations, right?
And like SEALs are a part of a special operations unit. United States Army Special Forces is actually Green Berets, what they're known as.
I apologize. I fucked that up a lot. It's been explained to me.
No. You're not. No need to apologize. And you have like Rangers, and then like the PJ, the pararescue guys in the Air Force, but they all work together. But essentially, depending on what mission you want, you're going to choose the right tool, right? So Green Berets are known for taking a small team, deploying to a foreign country somewhere, and then developing living training alongside a foreign country element to develop their forces to be capable to fight whatever the enemy is.
And you did that. Your first deployment was in Iraq?
Yep, Mosul.
And how long were you there?
7 months.
And what was that like?
Fucking wild. Actually, you had a guy on a couple weeks ago, and he had talked about the suicide bomber walking into the chow hall.
Yes.
I was there at that time.
Who was that?
Oh, I forget his affiliate name. I reached out to him afterwards. Forget his name.
Caleb's on it. Caleb is actually my special intelligence officer. During the day, he helps people with their venereal diseases, and on this job,
You know what? Actually, that's a decent analogy for like what Caleb's doing. Finding out more information to present to people to action targets is essentially what Intel guys do.
Was it Andy Schneider? I think it was Andy Schneider.
I forget the name of his place. But anyways,
I would need to see a
Blue
picture
Cord
of
CrossFit.
Oh, yes.
No, it wasn't him. There was a couple guys before him. Sorry.
Okay.
God, he's watching right now being like, fuck, what a douche. Hey, listen, I can't even remember my kids' names. I look at them, I'm like, which one are you?
Yeah, you didn't even know what my gym's name was. So
I know. Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Fucking crazy. I heard Greg talk about you so much too before I met you. Like for years, I heard him talk about you. It was so weird.
That's wild in and of itself, man. But so yeah, I'm listening to your show, and then I'm like, oh fuck! Like I was right across the airfield when that happened, and actually that'll be the anniversary. Like I think December 21st or something. So they did it right around Christmas time. Yeah, shit, I was right. Yeah. So this photo. So these are the guys. That
one of those guys. You?
No. That one of the guys is like my boss, and the other, like the officer in charge. The other one was the non-commissioned officer in charge. But so we had like a little chapel at our small little outpost, and then after that, man, like we had to like pull security in the chapel just to make sure nothing went down. And that to me, like that photo just represents the guys I worked with, man. Like just good fucking people who were just salt of the earth, and to be there during that time.
That's how you dressed right there?
Yeah, at that. So that's late 2004. That's before like other iterations of the BCUs or BDUs. But yeah, man.
And what did you do? Tell me, can you give me an example of what you would do there? Would you guys, I'm reading this book Craig Harrison wrote called The Longest Shot. I'm actually listening to it now.
Okay.
And he's from the United Kingdom, and he did fucking everything. And then I had Roger Sparks on here, and he did everything too. You know what I mean? Like some days you're just sitting around with your thumb in your ass guarding something that's pointless. And the next day they're just like, okay, 40 of you just drive around here. And it's like, basically they're sending you out to run over IEDs. You know what I mean? I mean, you're supposed to be looking for them, but it seems like there's so much bad shit happening that it's like, dude, like.
Well, so a good mission example during that deployment, the first ever Iraqi elections were in January of 2005. And like Al-Qaeda, all the foreign fighters, their purpose at that time was to get people not to go vote, right? So they had a complete campaign of like fear and psychological operations that we're going to like cut your head off. We're going to kill your family if you show up to vote. And so what our teams did leading up to that point was go out with Iraqi special forces. So we had a job, part of our units, their job was to train and develop our Iraqi special operations forces. But we had other teams, like once those guys were ready, they would advise and assist on missions with them. Because the end of the goal is like, we don't want to fucking be there forever. So we've got to train and develop those guys to take over security for their own country. So we would be like, our op tempo leading up to the Iraqi elections was insane because we wanted to take all the bad guys off the street prior to that so people could go to the polls and vote in their elections.
So that's what you did. You would get intel, and then you and the group would go out and collect bad guys and throw them in jail.
Yeah. So specifically within like our section, there's all kinds of ways to find out information, right? So like the one that's like most well known is human intelligence. So you're developing sources on the ground through different methods, whether it's like POW interrogations or you have high level access and placement through other means. So we're developing human intelligence. So we're getting guys on the ground to tell us who the bad guys are. There's also stuff like signals intelligence to find out, to fix and locate where bad guys are doing. So we take all this pipeline of information coming in and try to make the most sense of that and then feed it to the teams so they can put put their spin on it and action targets.
This is going to sound extremely racist, and it probably is, but I'm okay with it. I'm struggling with the term training Iraqi special forces. I just don't believe that there were ever any Iraqi special forces.
Well, there weren't until we were there.
Guys were actually able to make them competent enough to call them that. Isn't there like some sort of like competency level that we associate with the term special forces?
Yes. And so that's a great point. So
thank you, Dale. My favorite part of the podcast. Clip that.
This kind of leads into what would happen with me down the road, right? So you can take anyone. So do you judge an affiliate by how well their athletes move?
No.
Okay. Well, some people do, right? So you, as a coach,
I judge them by if they can keep the doors open. I'm a lowest common denominator guy,
right? So, but we're taking people off the street who have no experience with human movement, and it's a reflection of the coach on how well you get them to move.
Okay.
So it's the same thing if we reverse plan it. When you're looking at a Green Beret unit or a Special Forces unit, we're taking 18-year-old kids off the street with zero experience. We're running them through our own design pipeline of selection and assessment. And that's just like getting your dick kicked in for fucking months on end. If they survive that, then we're training them on the advanced skills on how to action targets and all that stuff.
Yeah, I believe you, Bruce. If I bet you there's a lot of kids there when there's, and especially there's not a lot of avenues for success for them. So they have a place where they can be with friends, get food, place to sleep, right? Get away from their uncle that's molesting them. I mean, fuck, And
if you actually of course we would go on to withdraw, and of course fucking ISIS would go back and try to take over Iraq. But if you actually look at it, the fucking people who stopped that from happening were the Iraqi Special Forces.
Awesome.
That had 10 years or whatever years of training underneath the United States Special Forces on what right looks like, so that when we are no longer involved there, they have the competency to take over their country.
Did you personally see some pretty amazing transformations?
I was kind of like off to the side. Second deployment was a little different, but I mean, you're just fucking to see what these guys can turn into is pretty, it's insane.
Like it's a ragtag group, and then a year later they move as a team and they're dangerous.
Yep. Like if you look up Iraqi Counterterrorism Force, ICTF, I don't know what they're called now, but man, back in the day, in the like 05 to 12, they were moving on targets.
Have any of those guys written books?
See that? That's the. This is the internal struggle with Green Berets and Special Forces. They're known as the quiet professionals.
Right.
So very rarely.
Even that code is even taught to the Iraqis.
I can't. It should be. I'm not for sure, but yeah, I mean, the Iraqis do. They're not. Our guys aren't really the ones going to write the books on that. Now, right. I will say this. A great example is horse soldiers, like the horse soldiers. So they were like 5th Special Forces Group was like the first team into Afghanistan. And what they actually rode into battle on fucking horses with their Afghan counterparts. And that's like the classic quintessential Special Forces mission that gets talked about a lot.
Have you read that?
I read it, and then it's more well known now because it was made into a movie not too long ago.
Because Chris Hemsworth picked it up.
Yep.
If you want to read, I'm telling you this book. If you want to listen to an audiobook, maybe it's not your cup of tea since you were over there. But this Craig Harrison book is fucking nuts, and it starts with him as a little kid, and just shows his path into the military.
Yeah, dude, I'll check that out.
It is the audiobook is absolutely unreal. It is so it's so well read. It's It's fantastic. So many layers of like lessons learned.
Mm-hmm.
It definitely makes you. I mean, he's basically the typical, story. But basically, I had Roger Sparks on. I don't know if you know who that is, but basically the same thing. The home life was just absolute fucking shit.
Yeah.
And it's like, I'm out of here, and all of a sudden you're in the military.
Yeah, that's kind of my dad's story.
His home life was shit, and he's like, I'm out.
Yeah, he's like, he couldn't wait to get the fuck out of there.
So you go there, and how many years are you in the military?
Dude, I was under a year. So it was like commission, go to basic course, get your unit, get on a fucking plane. It's time to go.
No, so how many years were you in?
Oh, just 4 years. Yeah.
And you deployed both to Afghanistan and Iraq?
No, just double tapped Iraq. So went to Iraq the first time for 7 months, then you come home for 7 months, and you go again for 7 months. And that cycle continues.
And why did you get out?
Because I could see the writing on the wall. I was
like, you were going to be killed or go crazy?
No, it was just if I wanted to stay married any longer than that, it was time. It was kind of time to get out, and I just had to make a hard removal because like if you still kind of stay in like guard or reserves or something, like you're kind of 1 foot in, 1 foot out. But I just knew it was time for me to move on.
And what year did you get out?
2007.
And had you found CrossFit at that point before then?
So I've found CrossFit probably the last 4 months of being in.
Can you tell me that story?
Oh, dude. So there was a group of I was a captain by this point, and our unit was redeploying again. So we were all getting out, and so we're kind of like in the operations. It's called S3. So we were in the S3 shop, helping develop training scenarios for our guys before they would go on. And this guy's like, "Hey, dude, you got to check this website out," because I always like to lift. They always like to run, and we would never meet in the middle. And then finally he was like, "Hey, there's this workout. I think we should go try it out one day." I was like, "Yeah, dude, let's go do it." And it was Filthy 50, and this was in Fort Carson, Colorado, up in the mountains. And I was fucking wrecked.
And you been trained? What was you had been training prior to that?
Yeah, it was basically like just lifting, really. I mean, just standard lifting kind of stuff. And they're like, "Yeah, you just do 50 of these things, and you do it really fast." And half the shit I didn't even know what it was.
Right.
And
back extensions.
Yeah, right.
Ball.
And so we watched videos. At that point, you had to download like the MPEG to your computer to watch the video. And 40 fucking minutes, man. I was just dry heaving 40 minutes, and I was like, "This is the fucking coolest thing like in the world. Like, where has this been my whole life?" And that was kind of my first taste into CrossFit.
And you just stayed with it.
Yeah. So I stayed with it. And then I think the next workout was like Lynn. So I was like, I was trying to get a little bit revenge because I lifted and these guys never lifted. And so that's why I was like, oh, so it's not one thing, it's everything. And that's really what got me into it.
Were you addicted to the website? You knew that it posted every day at 5 o'clock. You'd go see the picture, hope there's a picture, maybe you'd get lucky and there'd be a video. Like you were like,
dude,
I
all
the comments, all that shit.
I was bit and hooked immediately. Yeah. And then so it was time to get out. And
so we basically started at the same time. I found it in I heard about it in summer of 2006, and then. Or maybe it was before then. I can't remember, but I was kind of tentative, right? I was like, what is this shit? And then by 2007, I was on the website every morning, or every day at 5 p.m. Like literally waiting by my computer, 4:58, 4:59, like refreshing.
Yep.
As soon as you go up, you call your friend, dude, did you see the workout? I mean, it was crazy, right?
Yeah.
That's when websites were really big.
Yeah.
People don't really surf the web the way we used to.
No, and there was you had to go to the website. There was no other channel of information that you were getting. It's like, what's the workout of the day? And then you went back through the archives
Yes.
Then you went on the message board.
Yes.
And then you were like trying to learn how to make your own shit.
Yes. I don't have kettlebells. What am I going to do? What do I sub for GHD? And you're just like trying to like, yeah.
Yeah. And it was like if you actually saw a rower in real life in 2007, it was like this mystical thing that appeared. But yeah, man, so I was getting out and was fortunate enough to come back home. And I knew I still love CrossFit.
Did you have kids at this time?
No,
No. But how did you meet your wife? Sorry. And when?
No, we actually met in high school. We met in high school. Yeah. And then we dated on and off through college. And
wow. Okay.
Yeah. So then we got like a justice of the Caleb will appreciate this. We got a justice of the peace marriage before my first deployment. So I was like, hey, if I get fucking blown up, at least you get $400,000 out of this deal. So
smart.
That's right. That's smart. Right.
So
a lot of money, man.
Yeah. Didn't get blown up and came home. Then we got married in the real church, if you will. But yeah, so came back home. Started working for the Department of Energy, and I was still had to do CrossFit, right? So I went on, and now it was like there were actual places you could do CrossFit.
Right, not a lot, maybe just a few hundred in the country, but there was actually one near Portsmouth.
No, so 2007, I look up the map, and there's this place in Columbus called Rogue Fitness.
I've heard of it.
And I was like, and they're like, hey, we do free Saturday workouts. So I'm like, well, I guess I know what I'm going to do on Saturdays. So in Columbus is like an hour and a half away. So drove up there, just kind of fucking showed up Saturday morning, 2007. And there was this like skinny dude who said he was from the Air Force. And he was just coaching these classes. And it was first.
Was Katie around then? Was Katie in those classes?
Katie was not. I'd have to go back and look, but either they had not met yet or they were just dating, I think. Not even at this point. So, and just this is the first time I ever saw like a set of rings in an actual gym, and really just fell in love with CrossFit. Now I actually could see it in real life, and more so like fell in love with kettlebells. Like really just went off the deep end as wanting to learn more and more about kettlebells.
What do you think you liked about them?
I like
the movement or the portability or the
you could have one piece of equipment the rest of your life and you could be super fit.
Yeah.
And then there was like, then I went down the rabbit holes of like kettlebell sport versus like hard style and Pavel and RKC and blah, 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 blah. And,
wasn't Kelly Moore a big kettlebell person?
Kelly Moore?
Yeah. Do you remember her from the message board? She was like, the girl.
Yeah. Yes,
she was 120 pounds or 105 pounds and would do Murph with a 40-pound vest and beat all the guys. Yep. It's like, what the fuck is going on here?
Yeah. And two, it's like practicality. Like I can't afford to outfit an entire gym, but right. I can buy 3 or 4 kettlebells and be good to go. And so,
how long do you do that commute for on Saturdays? A long time?
I mean, I wouldn't go like every Saturday, but when I was available, I'd go up there. And that's
Would you take your wife?
No, she was working at the time. So just go up there. And then, so I'd have to travel a lot for work. And then the closest airport was Columbus. So I got to know Bill, and this was like when Bill was just gym owner Bill. And I didn't know shit. I knew I loved CrossFit, but I knew I sucked at fucking everything. So I would text Bill and like ask him to do some personal training as I was like leaving or coming out of the airport, just to like show me how to deadlift, show me how to clean, show me how to do stuff with kettlebells. And that's how I learned CrossFit, man.
Dude, I don't know if people listening know how crazy that is, but that's like texting Jeff Bezos and asking him how you should open up a 7-Eleven, or texting fucking Elon and trying to get some engineering tips to think of where Bill is now.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't, I don't think you can overstate his his well-deserved success. I mean,
no, dude, he and rightfully so. I ripped off every single piece of information I learned from him.
Yeah.
To include like the first Saturday class I ever went, like he took a picture and then he put it on his blog. And I was like, to me, that was the coolest fucking thing that had ever happened to me in like the CrossFit space. I was like, oh, there's a picture of me on a blog somewhere. And then I always remembered how that felt.
As I recall, Daniel, to even call the first Rogue a gym was a stretch. It definitely wasn't a business. The first affiliate was like every affiliate. It's just a fucking box. There was nothing fancy about it, as I recall.
No. I just thought it was cool because there was some rowers, and I saw rings hanging down from the rafters for the first time in real life.
Yeah, that's pretty advanced that he had rowers.
Yeah. And then so as I would travel up there, I got to know him, and then he kind of was like, you can't get CrossFit equipment anywhere. Like, unless it was like high-end Olympic level.
Right. Like a set of rings is like $800.
Right.
You're like, what?
And he was like, yeah. He's like, I'm getting my MBA. He was like finishing the Air Force, and I'm getting my MBA. And I found a dude who.
I didn't know that. Bill went and got his MBA?
Yeah, from Michigan.
Wow.
Yeah. And so he goes, I found a dude who can weld. And so he like shows me these metal rings. And he goes, I have another friend in a small town in Ohio who does a seamstress kind of. So that person did the straps.
Wow.
And he's like, we're selling rings now.
That was the first thing I bought. That was the very first thing I bought, rings.
Yep. And I was like, man, that's fucking epic. And so I just always would watch them from afar and talk to them a couple times a year. And then it started becoming Rogue Fitness. Like
he got a website and shit.
He had a website. You could go buy shit. And I just thought, man, I was like, that entrepreneurial thing was tangible. Like I knew somebody that did that. Before, it's like if you knew somebody that owned a business, it was like saying you knew somebody in the NBA. Like, oh, that must be nice. Like, how does anybody ever even actually do shit like that?
And this whole time, you still work for the Department of Energy?
Yep. So I worked. Okay. Yeah, I was working for the Department of Energy from 2007 to 2015.
Okay, and then what happens next? I don't want to miss anything and skip too much in the timeline, but do you open a gym next? Is that when you start thinking this is too far to travel? I need my own gym, or?
So so Bill got to the point to where he was selling kettlebells. Mm-hmm. And so I buy a bunch of kettlebells, and I belonged to a gym here in town. There was only like one gym here at the time.
Was it a CrossFit gym?
No, it was just a normal gym.
Right.
But I would carry in my kettlebells every day to the gym, and it was doing like CrossFit workouts with kettlebells. And they're like, dude, what the fuck are you doing here? Like, somebody's going to get hurt. What are you doing this for?
What are you training for?
Yeah.
I would always hear that at the park. Nothing.
Yeah. So you get like weird looks. What are you training for? And finally I was just like, hey, do you guys care? Like, can I just leave these kettlebells here and people can use them? Like, I don't give a shit. Like, they're like, no, it's a liability issue. Like, we're not allowed for you to do that. And I was like, man, what the fuck? And they're kind of like
zombie talk, just on autopilot, zombie talk.
And they're kind of like, and we don't really like you being here is kind of the vibe that I was getting. And then I was like showing some of their trainers like what I was doing. And then sure shit, like you'd see people start doing wall balls and stuff like that. Anyways.
Oh, wall balls were a big no-no. Do you know how many gyms you can't throw something in the gym? Or you don't have insurance for throwing objects.
Or you're scuffing up the wall.
Yeah. There's still some gyms, like some base gyms, that have a sign that says no wall balls here.
Yeah.
And you're going to scuff the walls or something.
Yeah.
It's hilarious.
And so finally a lady comes up to me and she's like, hey, I don't know what the fuck you're doing, but it seems really cool. I am opening up a new gym in town, and would you like to teach people how to use kettlebells? And I was like, I'd fucking be honored.
Had you taken Martone's, Jeff Martone? No.
Nope, I had not. And I was like, well, I guess I better like get serious about this if I'm going to actually teach people. So then I took Jeff Martone's course like the next month.
Where did you take it?
Down in Lexington, Kentucky.
You know Allison, right? Allison NYC.
Yeah.
So I met her at the Jeff Martone's kettlebell cert at the original CrossFit Santa Cruz gym.
Mm-hmm.
That's how we met.
Oh, dude, yes.
Yeah, he's an awesome dude.
Dude,
he is. With him?
Jeff is fucking great, man.
Yeah, he's a special human being.
The way he delivers information, his personality, his humor.
And he worked for the Department of Energy too.
Yep. He helped.
Right? Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, he was. He helped train the couriers, I believe.
The couriers meaning people who move stuff around.
Yep.
Yeah, that's if anyone ever gets a chance to meet or talk to that guy, that's you're very lucky.
Yes, and so yeah. So I watched all his videos, did the whole thing, and got certified. Went back up the bill. This is like one of my favorite memories of Bill. So we're talking 2009 now. So I was going to start these classes in 2010, and it was a Black Friday sale. So I drove up to Rogue, and it was Bill alone working in Rogue Fitness, which wasn't even Rogue Fitness then. It was a warehouse adjacent to his gym.
I remember, and in the back was the broken down deuce.
Yeah. And because I was like going to buy 10.
There was a basketball hoop in there for Katie to shoot into. It was kind of fucked up, but she could make all the trick shots, like the rafters and shit. I remember.
And Bill was like there, and he just like seemed to be like literally buried by all the equipment, trying to get the orders done. And he was just like, I'm never going to let people have Black Friday off again. And it was him, dude. It was him in there getting dirty, getting shit done because customers made an order and he was going to get it out. And so January 2010, started teaching people how to use kettlebells at this 24-hour fitness gym. And 8 months later, we'd outgrown the space and opened up my own spot in August of 2010.
That's when you open your gym.
Yep.
And there's this distinction you talk about, which I thought was fantastic. The difference between basically one of the things that I had heard spoken about, but never as poignantly as I've heard you, that guys are in the military. Even Don Fall talks about it, the current CEO of CrossFit. You come back from the military and you're an eminently capable human being and man, and yet you don't even fucking know what skill you have that transfers, even though you can fucking do it all. And you're like, what the fuck am I going to do with my life?
Yep.
And so when you have that, the implications is that I wrote down some of the words you used. Feel free to jump in and take over.
No, for me, guys get out and like, I just literally watched a fucking country have their first free and fair elections in history.
Yep.
And played a very small minor role in go ahead.
Connectivity and purpose in society. That's the words I grabbed from you. Yep. You come back and I mean you're so connected and you have such purpose, and then you come back and you're like, okay, who needs like you don't right away see the transfer, right? It's like someone who's like the greatest apple picker in the world and they move you to an apricot orchard. It's so obvious your skills are going to transfer, but you don't, because all you see is apples.
Yep. And you're lost. Like you're lost and you begin to feel isolated, right? And once you start feeling isolated, that's when bad things can really, really start to happen. Like
what do you mean isolated? Can you explain that to me a little better?
So you're like you're saying, like you're not with your team, you're not with your unit. You move back home and you're around people who have zero shared experience as you. So you have nothing to talk about. You have nothing to relate to. They're all complaining about what you think are extremely minor problems in life. And you're just kind of like, the fuck was all this for? And so you begin to like withdraw from relationships and from people. And that's when like isolation starts to set in. And isolation leads to desolation. And I've seen a lot of bad things happen to bad people when they no longer feel a part of something.
Bad things happen to good people.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
That's okay. Bad things happen to bad people too. I just wanted to make sure I got, and so you come back. Did you experience any of that yourself?
Yeah, man. It wasn't like very dramatic, but it was just like I had watched. So I got out in 2007. So I got out the height of all this stuff going down, and more people could name every member of the Kardashian family than they could anyone that had died in service. And I was like, is anybody aware that there is a war going on and people are over there? And I
want to add this to this. Let's say they're equally as important. Let's say they're equally as important, knowing the Kardashians' names and knowing the guys who died fighting for your right to sit down and watch the Kardashians and eat ice cream. It's still, even at that level, you have to assimilate to that society where you don't know any of the fucking characters.
Mm-hmm.
But we know that that's not equal. Like, no one's turning on the Kardashians, and before they turn on their TV, they look to the east and say, "Thank you, U.S. military,
right,
for giving me the safety to sit here."
Yeah, and that's why you do it. That's why you do it. You know,
right.
But there are like transition assistance programs out there, but no one can ever really prepare you for what life is going to be like when you're out there. And I had a great fucking job, like by all rights, like everything was looking good for me. But then even at work, man, I was like, now I was a government fucking employee, and I was just like, I can't do this. Like
why isn't that a cush job?
Dude, I was a GS-14 at like age 30.
What's that? What's GS-14?
Damn.
Just a lot of responsibility.
Well, you had a good salary.
Okay.
You had a good salary. My boss, I was like telecommuting before telecommuting was a thing.
Meaning life was good. You could stay at home.
I could, yes. Just as long as I did
underwear with just a shirt on doing meetings.
As long as I did my shit, like my boss was cool. But my shit was devoid of purpose. And then I'd watch people like 20 years older than me, and I could hear them before I saw them. And what I mean by that is I'd hear the shuffling of the feet down the hallway, like hunched over, staring at the floor, just shuffling the feet down the hallway to get their cup of coffee. And I was like, this is not the path. I will fucking be a miserable, miserable person if I do this. And luckily, as I was really starting to have these feelings, the gym came into my life, and now I had something to completely obsess about and to feel a part of something and to train people and to see their transformation and to just bring life back to an area.
Did people around you notice that you changed? Like as you got purpose in your life, did your wife and your friends see?
Yeah,
Dale's happy.
And God bless her, because she's put up with me for everything. Dude, I would go. This is so fucking embarrassing to say this, but like before the gym, I'd like get home from work. I'd still work out. I'd go home, get a workout in, and fucking play Xbox. I would fucking play Xbox, and I hated myself. I was like, what are you fucking doing as a man? You're like late 20s. You're getting home from work, from a job you fucking hate, to go play a fucking kid's computer game. Like, dude, this is your life.
You just insulted fucking 30 million people in the United States. But it's true.
Sorry.
It's fucking true. It's every single one of you will wish you got those years back when in the future.
And yeah, man. So started the gym, and
Oh, Sean says the problem is you should have played PlayStation.
There you go.
Bingo. Well played, Sean.
Okay, so and then that changed right away when you opened the gym.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Now I had a unit. Now I had a purpose. Now I had something that I was completely, utterly devoted, obsessed, and committed to.
And did you find a good location in Portsmouth?
I don't know if there is a good location in Portsmouth.
Right.
But so a guy that was taking the old classes, he was like, hey, my friend has this warehouse and it's dirty, disgusting, and he just stores his old cars into it. We had like a 500 square foot room that we were doing stuff out of. He's like, I think if you like approach him and ask him to rent it, he'd be willing to do it. And I was like, nope, not doing it. I'm not going to open up a gym. I don't have money. This is Portsmouth, Ohio. We're the economically most depressed and unhealthiest county in the state. No one can even afford this shit to begin with. And then started looking into it. It was like, okay, well, this is going to cost
the seed and it grew.
And it's like, this is probably going to cost me $8,000 to start, which was more than that. But I was like, okay, it's $8,000. And then it became
your L1 at that point.
I had not taken my L1 yet. We opened up as a non-affiliate just because I didn't know if this shit was going to last.
Right.
But I had the Martone cert, so I figured like if anybody asks, I'll show them that piece of paper.
There you go.
And it was like, okay, $8,000. What's the worst thing that can happen? No one comes. Then I was like, well, I'll have equipment for a sweet home gym for the rest of my life. And I've been kicked out of every place in town so far. So that was the route I was having to go take. So that was the ultimate decision.
And so you opened the place and people came.
We had a built-in following from being at the other place.
Yeah.
And we opened on a Saturday and 20 people showed up and
wow.
Have been coming ever since then.
And how much was the membership back then?
This tells you what a fucking genius businessman I am. So you're going to love this, especially being in Santa Cruz. So I talked to the lady. I said she wanted $600 a month for rent. Huh? And I was like, no fucking way. Cause I don't even know. There's no one's going to be here for that. So I said, give me 6 months at $300 a month. And if people are still coming after 6 months, then I'd say like I can afford the $600 a month. So we started with $300 a month rent and I was still working. So I was like, basically, all right, if you come to the gym, it's $5 a workout.
Okay.
And that's what I charged. That's what I charged.
And that was in 2010.
2010, yeah.
And where would people put the money?
They would like give it to me. They would put it on the desk. Like it was such a fucking shit show.
There was no register. There wasn't even you weren't even organized enough to have a glass jar.
No. It
was just like $5 bills just coming in.
Yep.
And then some asshole would give you a 50 and you change.
And then I got smart enough to the point to where I was like, okay, I'm going to offer 10 classes for whatever. And then I was like, so on the whiteboard, we'd have your name and then you just mark out the class that you went to.
Oh, awesome. Awesome.
So I've fucking done.
Are you still in that location?
No, dude. We 3 years later, we moved to our current location now.
Wow. Crazy. Okay. So when do you finally take your L1?
2011, I believe.
Okay. And do you remember who you took it with?
Actually, it was Ben Bergeron and his wife were on staff then.
That's Heather.
Yep. Okay. It was at Rogue Fitness. And I believe, how I took the L1, because when you host the L1, you get 5 free slots.
I think it's 2 now, but go on.
So Bill was like, hey, we got an extra slot if you want to come up here and take an L1. So that's how I got my L1.
When Bill said that to you, when was the last time you had talked to him prior to that?
I don't know, probably several months before that or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't that interesting?
Dude,
Do you think Bill's everyone stop listening for a minute. I want to ask Dale something. Go to the bathroom or something. Is Bill a quirky guy?
I think quirky.
I have all great people are fucking weird as shit. The Bill, when I've chatted with him in the more recent past, he doesn't seem like, maybe it took like 10 years to get to know him, but I always view him as a very quirky type. Like he's very quiet. I always remember him.
Yes.
Man, a few words.
Bill's quiet. He doesn't want any limelight. He doesn't want any attention.
Yeah. No attention, right? If he finds out we talked about him, he's gonna hate it. He doesn't even care what we said. He just doesn't fucking want his name said.
He just, I really am struggling to find the correct words that fit him. You know, he's just figured out a way to, become a powerhouse juggernaut in the industry, and doesn't give a shit about any sort of accolades, attention, or anything for it.
But it seems like he could do it with anything. If he would have got into like fabric, he'd have the largest fucking fabric business in the world.
He's extremely intelligent. Intelligent.
Maybe that's what it is that I'm picking off of him. He's just smart as shit.
And I think
and he's got fucking Katie, who's savage.
And he's like, so the things I remember, like from a business sense early on,
they got the brawn and the brain.
Yeah. And he's
two of them.
And like he does things the right way.
That's a great compliment.
He does things the right way. And like he won't fucking, like, I think you were talking about integrity earlier on. Like,
yeah,
he'll call you on your bullshit. Like he won't let shit slide.
Yeah.
And he has a very high expectation for excellence.
Yeah.
And some people don't meet it.
Yeah. I heard I've heard that. And the little bit that I've worked with him and Katie, I've gotten that too. Just most recently when we were at the Rogue Invitational, when we said, hey, can we get some media there? She said, sure, but I only have one request of you. Follow the rules. And then like 2 weeks later, I sent her a text. I'm like, hey, this doesn't seem right. We should be allowed to do this. She goes, I had fucking one request from you. And that's it. That's all she texted me back. I'm like, all right, fuck.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yep. And then he like throughout, we're talking over.
But good people. But if you're a pussy, you won't be able to hang.
Yeah. Like, yes.
Yeah.
And so we're talking like, in relationship history over 10, 12 years. And it's really not like he'll just.
He called you to me out of the blue. That means that like you were in his brain. It's because he's thoughtful. They're thoughtful people.
And he'll like say shit to me. He'll just drop little nuggets. So he was like, how's the gym going? And so PSKC stands for Portsmouth Spartan Kettlebell Club.
Okay.
Portsmouth Spartans is like the name of the original NFL team that was here before they got sold to the Detroit Lions. Yeah.
I had no idea. Wow.
Yeah, man. And then Kettlebell Club obviously makes sense. And so we started and we were growing, and he was just like, why don't you like do more barbell stuff? And I was like, oh, well, I can't afford barbells, basically was what I was saying. And he was like, basically his point was, you're going to get pigeonholed down and just be in a kettlebell gym, and you're going to end up losing a lot of potential because you don't offer anything else. I was like, oh, I'd fucking never thought about that. And he'll just like say little shit like that really gets you to think and helps you out along the way.
And that was a catalyst for you to start introducing barbells?
Yeah. So we started introducing barbells, and then we'd been around for a year now, and then we became a full-time affiliate because we can actually afford the fee at this point.
Yeah.
And then we just fucking took off, man. And then the next point in the juncture was a building became available, the building where we're at right now. And it was just like, ooh, now I'm going to go from renting to buying something. And of course I was super reluctant. I was like, there's no way I'm going to buy that building, because now if it folds, I can't just walk away. Now I actually have a piece of property along with me.
Are you still at the Department of Defense now?
Yeah, I'm still at the
Department of Energy.
Yeah, I'm still at Department of Energy. So this is like 2013. And then, so this is the value of like having smart people around you who will like tell you you're a dumbass. And I talked to one of my buddies, and I go, man, I don't know if I want to do this. And he was like, I'll tell you what, if you don't buy that building, I'll buy it, and then you can pay me rent. And I was like, fuck you. I'm going to buy the I'm going to buy the building. And
how much was it?
So 2013, this guy was basically had a bunch of back taxes, and he was looking to offload property. But long story short, it's about a 4,500 square foot building, and the purchase price was $70,000.
Yeah. Yeah. You could get a front lawn put in California for that much. Hey, that's cool. And you painted that?
Yeah, man. Yeah, we painted.
God damn, that's awesome, dude.
Yeah.
How fun. And that's what it looks like today?
That's it, man. There she is today.
God, that's so yummy. How fun. Dude. And you got that open lot next to you?
Yeah, there is an open lot next to us.
Just to the right. You could do shit outside.
Yep.
Barbecue, workout.
Yep. And then we actually built, so during COVID, we actually built a 1,000 square foot pavilion onto the front parking lot, put a rig out there. And so now we have like an outdoor space and indoor space too.
And when did your paths cross with the whole opioid thing, the thing with helping people and embracing that community, and started making your own kettlebells?
So 2017, I opened up another business called Doc Spartan with a lady who's a member at the gym. So we went on Shark Tank, got a deal, came back home, and around 2018, a friend of mine was a member at the gym, and he was also an executive of the counseling center. The counseling center is like the area's largest nonprofit behavioral health and addiction treatment center. So he was like, hey man, CrossFit has been extremely fundamental in my own recovery coming here. We got to figure out a way that you guys do classes at our place. And I was like, well, fuck, let's do it. Like, no brainer. Let's make this thing happen. And before that, I had zero experience with anyone in addiction. And quite honestly, man, I used to call them all shitbags. Because where we're at, like they walk a lot back and forth from our gym. And I would just like look at them and be like, you guys are the fucking problem. That you're the reason this town is suffering, is because of you. And just had like a really sour taste in my mouth. And then
that's when you're all integrity and no compassion.
Yep.
Great example.
Well, it's easy for me to.
And I'm not judging you for it. It's fair.
No,
especially
dude.
If you have kids.
It's the fucking truth. And but when I was thinking all that, at no point had I ever offered to help. Right. Mm-hmm. Then we started doing classes in like the fall of 2018, and got to know guys and learn about them, have conversations with them, learn about their struggles. And the first guy that went through our little pilot group, he came up to me and he was like, hey man, I really appreciate what you guys have done, but I'm done with treatment, and I'm moving on. And I was like, sweet. So I'm thinking this guy's got his shit together. He's got a job lined up, got somewhere to go. And so I go, hey, well, where are you going? He goes, well, I'm checking myself into the homeless shelter tomorrow. And I was like, you're doing fucking what? And I was like, I
can't believe there's one of those in Portsmouth.
I do. So I go, I don't even know where the fucking homeless shelter is here. He goes, man, if I, he's a young kid. He's like, if I go back home, I'm just going to relapse. And I got nothing else to do. And it wasn't saying it like, he was just, I asked a question and he told me. So I looked at the other coach at the time. I was like, tomorrow, 9 a.m., come to the gym. I'll give you a fucking mop and a broom, and you can stay there all day and work out as much as you want. We'll figure this out until you get a better setup. His name's Andrew, and Andrew's now, he's a coach for me.
I saw him on the Kelly Clarkson show that you were on.
Fucking beast, man.
Yeah, what a handsome dude.
He's a beast.
Beautiful daughter, crazy.
Yeah. And so he's the first one that really opened my eyes.
He looks like a model now.
He does, dude. He's a good looking cat. He's a good looking cat. And so
not either of those guys.
No, yeah, definitely not. That's my buddy Chase. He's the first one that really opened my eyes to like the problem of what they're going through, how he got on drugs, and the whole thing. And so after that,
not him either.
He's a little further on.
I appreciate those. You'll get it. Give it. You'll see him. You'll know when you see him. It looks like
they both look so handsome.
This guy looks like this guy looks a little more like, I don't know, like a Luke Rockhold, or this guy looks like an actor.
Yeah,
he looks like a Hollywood actor.
He looks like a G.I. Joe.
This guy.
Yeah.
There he is. Yeah, that's him. So that's him and his daughter. And man, that whole
country singer.
So his transformation gave you an education.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
And did you ever feel anything physical, like through that experience? I hate to use this word because I don't even know what heart is, but like your heart open up?
That's a way to put it. It's almost like you're willing to establish a connection with somebody you would never connect to before. And you're willing to learn. You
have those skills, especially being in the military, like it's like, and especially with men, probably.
Yep.
Like you're able to connect with men.
Yep. Yes. 100%.
Wow. This takes us back to, you found a place to use your skills there.
Yes. And that's why I said earlier on, I always thought, well, fuck, if we could take 18-year-old Iraqi kids off the fucking street and eventually through enough time and training and mentorship, teach them to be high level, we can do the same fucking thing here. And it finally became full circle.
What happens how many of these people, I don't know what you call them, former drug addicts have come through your gym since 2017?
Oof. I mean,
more than 100?
Yeah. So the way we have it is
so that's sorry before you go there. So that just started the catalyst. I don't mean to make you jump ahead. No. So you did one and then there was a second one.
Yep.
Did he tell someone?
So
Andrew?
Yeah. So Andrew, a key component of this is you have to have employment opportunities, right? So we eventually had
a dog shelter for fucking homeless people. I tried that. I did that. I let like 50 homeless people throughout all my college years stay in my backyard. It doesn't work.
No.
You just gave them a place to bring their Dremel tools and their stolen shit and do meth and steal your own shit. Okay.
Yep. So they have to have a purpose, right?
Or else you're just another homeless shelter.
Yep. So and the other thing is, I'll get into this, is like, it really can't be a government program either, because they're not going to be paid for anything. They know that if they just show up, collect a check, it's irregardless of their performance and effort.
And I don't mean to be a dick, but this is 100% truth. The people whose job it is to help you need you to be homeless. I'm just saying.
Hey,
it's like a prison guard. I need some of you to go out and rob some shit and come in here to make sure I keep my job.
Yep. So we were able to employ Andrew like part-time at Doc Spartan, and Doc Spartan's at the gym. So it's like one in the same place.
And tell me what that is. Tell me what Doc Spartan is.
So,
you had Doc Spartan before Andrew?
Yep.
Okay. So let's go back. Sorry. Let's go back to that story. Are you good for time?
Bro, I got all fucking day.
Okay. And if you have to pee, let me know. We'll stop the show. Okay. I'm good though so far.
Fuck Caleb. Caleb cannot piss. Oh. He's got
cannot.
Okay. So just some dates to get people, make sure everyone's up to speed. So 2007, you come home from the military to Portsmouth, Ohio. 2000, you had found CrossFit in your last 4 months in the military. In 2000, then you would go up to Columbus, and that's how you met Bill Henniger. You go up to Rogue on Saturdays occasionally to do a workout in a real affiliate. And then in 2000, and then you were working for the Department of Energy. And then in 2010, what happened? Is that when you opened the gym? No,
2010. Yeah, 2010 is when I opened up the gym in the warehouse.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. And then 2017 is when you met Andrew. That was your first person who came in, who went through that transformation through that program. But we're going to go back. You started another small business within your company called Doc Spartan.
Yeah. So within the gym, we created Doc Spartan in 2015. 2015 is the same year I quit working for the government.
Okay.
So now I'm unleashed. I've burned the boats, and now I'm like doing the entrepreneurial thing full time.
And what is Doc Spartan? Can you take us to that website, Caleb? Were you just there? Sorry. I think I put a link in the notes.
So Doc Spartan, we handcraft and manufacture our own skincare and grooming products.
So
we got first aid ointment, soap, scrubs, the whole thing.
What's first aid ointment?
So it's what Caleb's actually holding up. Well done. Product placement, Caleb.
Very nice.
So what was it? So I was also, prior to that, I was doing some work with adaptive athletes in helping train and coach them and get to different competitions and stuff. But anyways, so what happens is like if you take a upper extremity adaptive athlete where their limb fits into their prosthetic and you're doing pull-ups and all this stuff, like you get pretty gnarly rashes.
Oh, where the prosthetic rubs against the body.
Yep.
Okay.
And then kind of in parallel, there was this girl at my gym and she would just have like a little stand of homemade lotions and creams that she was doing. And she would kind of sell them to the female members in the gym. And then I said, hey, do you think you could come up with like a first aid ointment? Because people rip their hands in the gym or bust their shins. And she's like, yeah, I think we could try it. So she came up with like some prototypes and stuff. And we handed them out to everybody in the gym. And we just said, hey, try this out, see if it works. And we got like really amazing feedback. And so we just like literally in my kitchen table, like structured out, we'll be 50-50 partners and we'll just kind of sell this to the people at the gym. And it'd be a cool little side hustle to have. That was, that was 2015. By 2016, we were asked to go on Shark Tank and film an episode.
You were asked?
Yeah, they reached out to us for that.
Oh, isn't that funny? I would have thought it's people clamoring to get on the show.
There's like thousands of people that try to apply, but in parallel, they have producers that are out seeking different companies.
Okay. And that's the show where you stand up in front of a bunch of rich people and you're like, hey, if you give us some money and help us, give us some of your know-how, you can have a piece of our company.
That's exactly it. And so 2017, we aired and just really kind of launched the company. I mean, it was insane after we aired on Shark Tank.
It was?
Yeah. So to give you a frame of reference, you got to understand too, it's like we never wanted this to be a thing. Like it was just something that we were going to do on the side. And then more and more people would see it on social media and they'd be like, hey, how can I buy this? And I was like, fuck, I don't know. And then
Ask Bill.
So then I, researched how to open up a Shopify store. And so then I started doing that. And then our goal was like, hey, let's just try to make one sale a day. Like that would be cool. And so the year and a half we were open as a company before going on Shark Tank, we had done like 2,000 orders online. The 5 days after airing on Shark Tank, we did 4,000 orders within 5 days.
Shit.
Yeah, dude. Did
they tell you, hey, brace yourself, pump up your inventory because shit's gonna get wild?
Dude, yeah. Well, yes and no. A lot of this stuff you're just out there to figure it out on your own, so you better be fucking smart at what you're doing. Or not necessarily.
Were you able to fulfill those orders? Yes.
And the reason, this is what a lot of people like, this is like inside baseball, right? So we filmed an episode in June of 16 and we knew we got a deal, obviously at that time. Our episode didn't air until February of 17.
Okay.
Right. So we got
7 months, 8 months later,
7-8 month gap in there. We make everything ourselves. Like we don't outsource. We don't have a co-packer. We manufacture everything ourselves in hand. So then it's like, well, how much do we need to make? I couldn't even tell you how to even guesstimate that.
Right.
And then contractually, they're not obligated to tell you. They can give you 2 weeks heads up of when you're going to air.
Okay.
So you're just out there.
Like, how do you even get 1,000 of those cans?
So you need money for that.
Right.
Is the short answer. So now, and by virtue of me working for the Department of Energy as long as I could, every bit of profit I just reinvested back into the gym. And so I've never gone into debt for anything. And
Bill loves that. Did Bill ever talk to you about that?
No, not specifically about that, but I'm just fucking too scared. I hate
smart, healthy fear.
I hate having to owe anyone anything. So anyways, so it's like, well, let's just put a target out there that we're going to need 2,000 of these. And you start calculating like, you're going to need like $40,000 worth of inventory.
Wow.
And it's just like, okay, well, where do we get that? And so now I'm having to go in debt, the biggest amount of debt I've ever had to go in at this point in my life, all on a prayer that this thing airs and it goes over well.
Right.
And then we have to hire somebody to make all this stuff in between that. So there's a lot of risk, a lot of uncertainty.
What do you mean? Like cook the soap or make the soap
Yep.
or mold,
Yep,
whatever those grenades are. Yeah. Someone has to do that.
Somebody has to build
each one of those.
Yep. And so fortunately, man, it worked out. So we were able to get 4,000 orders and fulfill them all within 5 days.
Wow. And literally as it's airing, are you seeing the orders?
Oh my God, dude. We had, I remember trying to watch the analytics on Shopify as it was airing and trying to pay attention to what they were saying.
Yeah.
And I looked up and at one point there was like 13,000 people on the website at one time. I was like,
Did your website ever crash?
No, it didn't. And because, so I started reaching out to other companies who had gone on and was just like, hey, can you help me? What can we do? What can we expect? And a lot of that's just like the lessons you learn by owning a CrossFit gym. Like everything successful, I learned either from the military or fucking up a CrossFit gym for the first 5 years of its existence.
And so that, what was your partner's name again? The lady's name?
Renee Wallace.
Renee Wallace. And
Yep.
so, and so that company's still going strong.
Yeah, we're kicking it, man. We're kicking it. We're actually trying to dig out from holiday sales right now.
God, that is so awesome. I'm so excited for you. And then they did a recap. I saw the link to the recap. They did a recap recently talking about your success.
Yep. Yeah. And so when you're looking at this from a brand marketing standpoint, it's just like, how can we take advantage of this show as much as possible?
Right.
Obviously we got a deal. That's step one. Step two is like they sent a home package. So they sent people down here to film us live. So we got an extra 2 minutes of footage there.
Yeah.
And the episode turned out to be really good. And then we got the follow-on episode.
Was Renee ever like, hey, I don't want any of your drug addict buddies working at our company?
No. So
she wasn't like, hey, you're getting too risky for me.
So here's why.
Yeah.
Renee at the time, she
was addicted to crack.
Close. Close. She was dating the guy who worked at the counseling center that set this whole thing up.
What the fuck?
Yeah. She was dating the guy.
Hey, there's only 6 people who live in Portsmouth. It's really not that. It's not. I need to speak to the mayor. Yes, here I am. I need to speak to the garbage man. Yes, I'm here.
That's not a far off representation. And then, so also, she's real big into yoga. So she teaches yoga to clients. So, yeah, that's me. Yeah.
You own your gym outright?
Yep. So I'm 100%.
And yet you're a partner in this, in the business.
Yep.
Yeah. That could be a whole episode. Is it challenging having a partner?
It is. Yeah. But I think for us, like we have well-defined roles into what we're doing. And like she does all she takes care of the employees. She ensures bills are paid. She ensures, she does all the shit that I hate to do. And she likes to do that. And then I'm just kind of there to help push sales and marketing.
And I know that you mill guys have a very blunt way of can have a blunt way of communication, and that can rub some people wrong. Especially like regular people, like like us Berkeley folk. But it's highly effective, and it allows things to move very quickly. Was there an entry period for her in dealing with you?
So the good thing about Renee is she had been a member of my gym pretty much since like year one. So she knew who I am. She knew what she was getting herself into.
Right.
But you're right. Like I'll say some shit just fucking that I think is no big deal. And then I'll look up and I'll see tears and I'm like, okay, well, that's not what I gotta walk it back. And you just have to learn. You have to learn how to communicate the most effective manner with the audience that you have.
I will say this too. If you have some of these people in your life, you have to work on that shit too. My first year working at CrossFit with all the mill guys was fucking tough.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, the truth is it was me. It wasn't them. It was all me.
It's dude. And I mean, as a 22-year-old dude going to 10th group and wasn't a tab guy. So like, I wasn't a special forces guy. I was a support guy for them.
Yeah. And I know how they talk about you guys.
Yeah. Right. And I was like, at every point in my life, I had been like the top dog until then. Right. Whether it was sports.
Now you're just support. I've heard people. Dave used to tell me that. He's like, you're in the media team. You're just support. Just fucking just spit on me.
And I was like, I fucking felt, I don't even know like that. I just went into work every day and I was like, I have to prove that I'm worthy enough to fucking be here. Yeah. And that was my attitude. And it took a while. Like you're going to get beat. I mean, not physically, like you're going to get beat on. There we go. There's a 10th grouper.
God, I love this show.
You're going to get beat on. You're going to get abused. You're going to see if you can take it. And then like, once you prove your worth, man, like you're part of the club. Like you're the dude.
Someone DM'd me the other day. They go, why were you like, fucking with Hill? There's a guy, Andrew Hiller, who's in the YouTube space now. Mm-hmm. And he came on pretty strong about a year ago. And in the beginning I would fuck with them. Like, just like on my show, just talk shit about him a little bit. And they're like, and now you guys are buddies. They're like, why'd you do that? I go, hazing process, bro.
Yeah.
Courtship. That's how I test them. They're faints. It's like, just throwing some, like, what, and see how he reacts. Just like nothing, and fucking, he was a stud.
Yeah, man. He's a
you
good,
got to play the game. Now we're buddies. Yeah.
He's a good dude. But yeah, so
everyone needs a little good hazing once in a while.
Yeah. I mean, you have to, and that was the lesson. It was just like, all right, dude, you got to fucking prove your worth. Like it's a moonshot that you got here. And like, those guys were like my fucking heroes. Like, I was like, oh shit, now I'm deploying with them. So we better get this shit together.
So you got good people in your life.
Oh my God. I have been blessed with amazing people, opportunities, just to, like, the last time I was at Greg's.
How did you meet Greg before you go there? How did you meet Greg? I know, wasn't that crazy? We're at a party with all those people. Like, we're just hanging out with Rodney Mullen and shit. That was fucking nuts.
I looked around.
That was recently, by the way.
I looked around and I was just like having a conversation with myself. I'm like, what in the fuck are you doing here? Like, what role?
Head AI guy from Google's there and shit. Yeah, that shit was crazy.
I was just like, so going back to like proving my worth, I was like, you know what? I'm going to make sure this fucking fire doesn't go out.
Yeah.
I'm just going to keep putting wood in the fire. And
look at Russell Berger was there.
Yeah, dude.
William Briggs, Roger Kimball. Hey, so how did you meet Greg?
So
just to finish off, so the company's up and running. It's its own fucking show.
Yep.
It's a beast. We
do a
show down Spartan, the road here talking about how to start a business maybe.
Doc Spartan is cruising. It's doing great. So we're 2017, we air on Shark Tank. Now we need like more people to work. So then that's when we offered Andrew the job. And then he had it, like we had another opportunity. So we hired another guy. And just
he went from cleaning the floors to working at Doc Spartan.
Yep. And then after he started working at Doc Spartan for a little while, then he got his level 1. And then he started doing coaching. Now he's fucking coaching classes that he used to be a client of.
Wow.
And he's coaching classes at my gym as well.
So when you say close to coaching classes, he was a client of, meaning he has a class with addicts in recovery.
Yep.
Wow, that's dope. Do they love him?
Andrew is like, I don't think he even understands how much people look up to him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just from the guys on my own crew and just like people in recovery in general around the town.
It must be weird to see people go from just shells of themselves with no self-esteem to just like fucking believing in themselves.
Dude,
what a trippy transformation.
But what a fucking great life.
Oh yeah, look at this. Look at these slides, guys. This is a crazy Instagram post. This one's nuts. Yeah, look at him. He might end up in movies.
He's a stud, dude.
And back on drugs again. Well, yeah. Go to the beginning. Yeah, this is just nuts. Oh yeah, that dude's a savage too. Look at this guy. This guy turned into Brad Pitt.
So yeah, let me stop you right there. So this is Ricky. Ricky is one of my favorite fucking people in the world. He was our second full-time employee through Doc Spartan after this process. And it was actually, I think 2 years ago to the date almost. Anyways, we write him his first check, give it to him. He goes back. He comes back to the conference room. He pulls the fucking check out of his pocket, like looks at it like this, folds it back, looks at Renee and I and go, I just want to say thanks. Because for the first time in my life, I can buy my kid a Christmas present. And I was like, I still like get choked up about it today. And I was like, this guy just like, that's fucking what I get to, like, that's the people I want to be around. That's the people I want to spend time with. That's like, I feel fucking so blessed and fulfilled that these people are in my life. Anyway, sorry. Yeah. Go to the next slide.
Yeah.
This is another, like, this is Sarah, man. Fuck, she's so amazing.
And does she work at the gym or at Doc Spartan?
She runs the packaging and grinding place we'll talk about here in a minute.
Okay. God, Hillbilly.
She's a CrossFit coach at a satellite facility.
Yeah, she look in that picture too. Now she just looks like a mom that drives a minivan that does CrossFit.
Yep.
Like she just looks like your regular CrossFit mom. Look at her.
Yeah, man.
And then there's Andrew.
And now they have each other, you know?
Oh yeah. Now they have each other. That is so awesome. Holy cow.
Shared experience, shared suffering kind of thing.
It's family.
Same thing you're going to find in the military. And
you started making kettlebells there too?
No. So I'll tell you that story. 2020, couldn't buy shit. Like you couldn't even get shit from Rogue at that time.
Oh, because of the COVID restrictions. Yeah. Right. Okay.
So there was a guy at my gym. He was head of sales for a local foundry here. So foundry is just like a company that pours iron into different parts and pieces, right? So if you actually think about a 45-pound iron plate, like that's a great example of what a foundry does. And then there was like a GQ article that said the great kettlebell shortage of 2020. And I just happened to read that online. And so I asked the guy at the foundry, I said, hey, could you guys make kettlebells here? Like, is that something that you could do? He's like, yeah, man, like we've wanted to get in that business for a long time, but have just never been able to figure, like, talk to the right person. So I'm like, well, I email Bill and I say, hey, would you guys ever be interested in seeing if we could make kettlebells in Portsmouth, Ohio? And he's like, fuck yeah, like let's do it. And so I sent an email to the guy, Osco's the name of the foundry, and Bill. And like within a month or two, they were making kettlebells here in Portsmouth, Ohio.
No shit.
Yeah, dude. And
Are they still making them there?
Fuck yeah. So if you go on Rogue's website,
wow.
You can see like the ones that are made in Ohio.
I think did I see a little documentary on that or something? Like a little video on that?
There's been some news clips probably, but so here I go from like this is like.
How far is that place from where you're standing right now where they're making kettlebells?
Half mile up the street.
And they just basically like they get big chunks of metal, melt them down and pour them into a mold. I mean, I'm oversimplifying.
No, that's really, so Matt.
Put them in a truck and send them up to Columbus and then Bill sells them.
Imagine railroad ties, like old railroad tracks.
Yeah.
Dude, they'll take those and melt them down. There you go. Those are made in Portsmouth, Ohio.
I can't believe how nice those look.
They are made in Portsmouth. I'm going to say it 3 times. Like those are made in my hometown from the same fucking. Now this is where I get off. Like I start going down my revenge. I got fucking kicked out of a gym in 2009 for bringing kettlebells in, and like 11 years later, they're making kettlebells in Portsmouth, Ohio.
Crazy. Who owns that company? Does Bill own that company?
That's Rogue. So they're Rogue Kettlebells, and he's obviously Rogue doesn't have their own foundry, so they.
I wouldn't say obviously.
That's true. So they reached out to, even like if you go down to the description, Caleb, it'll tell you they're made here in Osco. Like I think it's all the way at the bottom.
That video showing of how, it is there. Cast by Osco Industries. There it is.
Yep.
Go down a little bit more. Let me look at those pictures, Caleb. There might even be like a little video there.
There is, yeah, Rogue does have a video of it, and it's a fucking awesome video.
Yeah, his film guys are dope.
Yeah, so they're the smaller ones from like 44 and under are here in Portsmouth, and the bigger ones are up in Michigan.
Hey, are you following what's happening to Travis Bagent's son?
No, I've heard you talk about it, but I don't know much other than that.
It's fucking nuts, dude. It is really like he's on the path to becoming like a household name for fucking throwing a football around. I mean, he's the all-time college football touchdown passing record this fucking kid broke.
No shit.
All time. Yeah, he's like the greatest. And coaches are saying he's like the greatest quarterback they've ever seen. It's nuts. And he's Division II.
That's legit.
And he's a CrossFitter, a hardcore CrossFitter.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And that's a lover of Rogue. I'm trying to get him set up with Bill and Katie. Like, dude, have the Tyson Bagent shirt or some shit. Like fuck, like
hook him up.
Yeah, I mean,
shit.
He's such a good kid.
That's awesome.
Yeah, he reminds me so much of Rich Froning.
Damn.
Just in like that demeanor. Okay, well, congratulations. That's awesome. So you not only changed, you started your gym, started one business, started another business with Renee Wallace, and then helped this other guy. Are you part owner of that?
No,
So you jumpstart that business for that guy.
So yeah, and just solely I was like, let's fucking make these things in Portsmouth, Ohio.
Does he employ any of your former addicts?
Nope, nothing. No. I just was like,
he needs to.
If there's a need, like I want this shit done in my hometown, right?
Yeah.
And so he starts.
Are you gonna run for mayor?
No, I don't want to do with any of that mess.
All right.
So this is like a key example of like. So then my other buddies were like, well, hey, did you ask for like a percentage? Did you get commission on that deal? I'm like, no, dumbass. Like, that's not why you do it. Well, they start getting up and running. Osco comes back to me and they're like, hey man, we have to package these kettlebells. Like meaning like each kettlebell gets 2 boxes, styrofoam, ship ready, door to door. And I was like, okay, well, they're like, we pour iron, man. Like we're not a packaging company. But would you like to open up a packaging company and do it for us? And I was like, well, fuck yeah. That's I can do that.
You scratch my back, I scratch your back.
So having like, So now I got to go find a building. Now I got to go find employees. Now I got to go find all this.
Do you know how many people would have fucked that up, Dale? Do you know how many people would have been like jealous and wanted a piece of that fucking kettlebell company and like jumped the gun too soon? And instead you waited for it to like boomerang and come back to you? I'm telling you, so many people would have fucked that up.
To me,
you know why? Because they think the world's out to get them. They don't understand how the mechanisms of the world work.
To me, it was about having it done in my hometown. That was it.
Sure. Right.
That was it.
Very selfish of you.
So then I was like, well, fuck, I guess. But now, so we had 2 years of experience getting people jobs at Doc Spartan. So here's how it works. I only coach one class a week, but we do 25 classes a week for the counseling center at their place, which is fucking nuts. That's 5 classes a day. So we get to see people. Basically, we get to recruit.
They have a gym there? They have a gym there?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
They have their own CrossFit gym inside their facility. So I will cherry pick the hardest workers that need jobs. Once a job becomes available, I'll then ask them if they're looking for employment. Then we started getting full at Doc Spartan, meaning we had no other jobs. And then so this packaging company became available, and it's called Spartan Solutions Group. And Sarah runs that company. I mean, I just provide direction. She's there every day, ensuring shit gets done, shit gets made, and shit gets out. So she runs her own crew of 3 to 4 people.
And Sarah was the one we saw a picture of that was a former addict that went through the program. And when you say you pick these people from the hardest, you mean like the people at the gym that's at the rehab facility, they're there 5 days a week. And whether they know it or not, they're not only working out, getting fit, finding a group of people, but they're also applying for a job, but they don't know it.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
We're always assessing and recruiting out of there.
So good. And there it is again. Who do you want? I don't give a fuck about your Fran time. I need to see you come 5 days a week and try your hardest. And then that's how I know you're the best plumber that ever existed.
Yep.
Or the best violinist or whatever. Yeah.
Man. Cool. And then you just have to, what employers get fucked up on is you need to provide mentorship to your employees. Just because they work for you, that in a normal scenario, yes. But for these guys, like, we just say, hey, your recovery comes first. And when we say be here at 9 a.m., be here at 9 a.m. And if you're ever unaccounted for more than one time, we have to let you go. Everything else.
How many people have you had to let go?
Through the packaging company, I'd say it's like 50%.
50%, yeah.
Yeah, because it's hard fucking work, man.
Dude, yeah.
It's hard fucking work, but
But are those 50% relapse?
No, they just could either find other jobs. They could be relapses.
Okay. I'm cool with that. I'm not cool with the relapses. Did you see the video we did with? Do you know Schindeldecker? You do know him.
Matt is a good fucking friend of mine.
What a
man.
There's some parallels here, right?
Yeah, we talk frequently.
Yeah.
Matt, I hold Matt in very, very high regard.
Me too.
There's like, you talk about like me, I'm fortunate enough to meet these people and go to opportunities. Like at any point I can call Craig Howard, I can call Matt, I can call like guys who I look at and respect as like mentors to figure my own shit out. And that's where a lot of it is just being successful. It's just being able to call on the right people.
So you start this other company called Spartan Solutions.
Yep.
And they somehow, how far is that from where you're standing right now?
800 meters down the road.
Okay. So in this loop, in this city center, there's the place that makes the kettlebells. And then there's the place where do you take the cardboard to them?
No. So
the kettlebells go there and they package up and mail out of there?
Actually, the way it works is raw castings come out of Osco. Those raw castings are the kettlebells. Those raw kettlebells then need to go be finished, meaning they need to be grinded down to ensure there's no rough patches on them. That's done at another facility. Then from there, the machined kettlebells go to the paint shop. They get coated. Then once they're coated, they come to us and they get packaged for final delivery.
And is that all in all those steps are in Portsmouth?
There's a couple that are done outside of Portsmouth, but Southern Ohio for sure.
God, that is so cool.
And that's what people don't understand is like, we talk supply chain, like that's what it takes to get shit done in America.
Right.
There's a lot of moving pieces and parts, and that's what Rogue is great at.
Does this Spartan Solutions, have they also taken on the role of packaging the Doc Spartan stuff like the deodorants and the?
No, we have our own guys that do that. But what we did, so here's like a great example of how success breeds more success. So I open up a company. It's completely ran by people in recovery, also known as addicts, right? So Sarah runs the show, and so she's doing all the direct interface with Osco. Osco, I'd say, is like easily maybe a couple $100 million company.
Oh, it is?
Yeah. I mean, they're doing shit all over the place. And Sarah's the one doing the direct interface. And because of her credibility and trust and reputation that she's developed, Osco came back to us and was like, hey, we're making thousands of these small parts. We don't have the capacity to finish them in the company. Would you guys mind taking on this work? So now we have like a full on other line of business to where we're like grinding these small cast iron parts by the thousands and getting it done for their clients.
So give me an example of what another part would be, like something that's made for cars. And then they would be like, hey, we need these finished by this day. And they send them over to you and she gets them done and sends them back.
Yep.
Yeah, wow.
Dude, it's
story's nuts.
And I'm telling you, like, I have zero fucking experience with that. I have zero, because now, so a gym.
How often do you get? So is your day just filled with going to your different teams?
Pretty much.
And finding out what they need from you?
Yeah. So the good part is the gym and Doc Spartan are co-located. So it's one building. Spartan Solutions warehouse is like 2 blocks down the street. So Sarah can always come here if something's popping, or I always try to stop by there as much as I can. But you never know what the fuck's going to happen on a given basis with everything going on.
God. So how long has Sarah been doing it?
Since 2020.
Does she know how to, like, does she know how to talk to employees? Like, that shit's hard. That shit could take 5 years or 10 years to figure that shit out. You know what I mean? Like to do straight talk with someone.
So
without, like, Dale, this is the 3rd time you came in late. It's only 5 minutes, but I have no tolerance for it. And I'm tired of you fucking parking your car over there where it says no. And you're not representing our company well, just in the area. I saw you smoking out front, throw your cigarettes on the ground. Come on, man. Like, can she do that shit?
She can do that.
Shit's scary. She can.
Well, here's the thing, dude. Those are easy problems. Like those are easy problems. So we have a guy. She has a guy who works for her. His name's Rooster, and fuck, man, Rooster's gone through some tough shit in his day, and he's finally progressed to the point to where he now has his own apartment. Well, because he like kind of went under significant care. He's on his own. Some shit got dropped off, like doctor's appointments and in this case, like antipsychotic meds. So it was like 3 or 4 weeks without taking his antipsychotic meds. And so now she has to take on the role of like talking to his physician to ensure that it gets the right script gets to the pharmacy. And so he doesn't fucking kill himself or anything worse, you know?
Right.
Like that's the shit that she's dealing with to ensure he's taken care of.
Oh my goodness.
And that's what I'm trying to like express to people. Because otherwise, what happens if we don't do that?
He falls, he relapses. He's homeless in a week.
At best, if not fucking dead.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, because the shit that's on the streets now will just kill you.
Do you have any friends die in Portsmouth?
Yes. To try to take this full circle, the guy who set this all up So the executive, his name's Billy, the executive for the counseling center, he was their lawyer. So he was their chief legal counsel, my fucking best friend. Well, he relapsed. He relapsed 12 months ago, Halloween of last year, and fucking died.
Oh my God.
So the guy,
hey, not uncommon for these, by the way.
No.
This isn't the first time I've heard that someone who runs, I just heard this story actually very recently where this person runs like 7 recovery homes and they relapsed.
Yeah. And the guy, this was his vision, his idea to get the CrossFit thing stood up, to then like breach into community partnerships with employers. It was his idea. And
why did he relapse?
Basically he got fired from the counseling center. Probably because I couldn't pinpoint it, but he got fired and it was his fault. And so it goes back to, he had no identity now. He was a part of a unit.
Self-esteem fell, turned back to whatever drugs he was doing.
And he started to isolate.
What drug what killed him?
Coroner's report, it was fentanyl poisoning with cocaine. So he was doing cocaine and it was laced with fentanyl and killed him. Killed him, man. And
where did fentanyl come from? Does it come from China?
So in my opinion, what's happening is all the substrates are chemically made in China. They're shipped over to Mexico. The cartels put them together, and then they come across the border. Because if you look, like, this is what people don't understand. Like, if you look at a packet of sugar, right, like that size of what we're dealing with, that amount of sugar that's in there, if that was fentanyl, that can kill 2,000 people. That's the minuscule microscopic amount that can kill people. Like, that's what you're dealing with.
Does it ever drive you? Do you ever look at like this footage? Like, I'm sure you've seen it, the footage of the border, and it's just like thousands of people coming over every day and no one's stopping them, and they're actually being helped over the border, and they're coming in, and no one's vaccinated, no one's wearing masks, no one, like, it's just a fucking free for all at the border. Meanwhile, our country is force injecting our kids. It's like making people wear masks, shutting down small businesses. Do you ever just want to just? How do you deal with this big picture? How do you process what the fuck we're seeing?
Well, it's worse than that. So,
and that there's people at their top that are allowing this, that are basically they're all codependents. The whole COVID pandemic was a codependent for bad lifestyle choices. It was codependency.
Well, here's what happened with people in recovery. When you get fucking shut down, you have no access to your treatment.
Did you have to shut your gym down?
So we shut our gym down in the height of it. Ohio was actually pretty common sense.
Why do you have to follow rules in Dukes of Hazzard land? I mean, you really are in BFE, aren't you?
Well, I'll tell you what ended up happening was we shut down because honestly, like, no one knew what the fuck was happening, right? So you didn't want to exacerbate the problem. Well, then it was like 5 weeks into it, it was just like, this makes no fucking sense. Like, we're doing worse by not allowing people here. So I was basically like, fuck it, we're going to open up. And just kind of did it like tongue in cheek. Like, we're not having workouts, we're having meetings. If you're a member and you want to come here and have a meeting, we'll do it. Right. And sure as shit, man, like day one that I kind of put it out there that we were going to do it. There's a poor lady from the health department. She just came in here and she was like, well, I bet you know why I'm here. And I just tried to play it like super, like, oh no, what's going on?
Want to join?
So she goes, we just can't let you. And here's how we fucked up. We fucked up by telling people, you should have told them not park in the fucking parking lot. Like that. Right. That's how we fucked it up.
Gotta park down the road.
Yeah. Like, come on, guys. Like, this is not your first, like, illegal.
It's like seeing over your girlfriend's house.
So anyway, she goes, we can't let you open up. And I was like, well, what can you let us do? I try to like throw it back on her.
Yeah, I like that.
And she's like, well, how about this? How about we let you guys work out in the parking lot?
Oh.
And I was like, oh, fuck, like that's common. Like that's a compromise. That's a common sense compromise. We were the only county in Ohio that had outdoor workout permission for a month before the governor lifted the restriction. So every gym inside of the county got to tell their members they could work out outside because it was a local authority kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then I'll do you one better. So that lady comes in here. She lets us do it. Like 2 days later, I get a call from a Columbus number. And it was like from the state capitol. And I was like, oh, fuck, here we go. And this lady's like, hey, we want you to be on the governor's committee to reopen gyms.
Oh, wow.
I was like, what are you, do you know like what you're, she's like, yeah, we want you to be on the committee to reopen gyms. Because we want like you, basically she's like, we want you to represent smaller gyms who aren't like Globo gyms and won't have. And so we try to push for common sense rules of like that little gyms shouldn't have to follow that big gyms do kind of thing. So,
yeah. And did you take the role?
Yeah, fuck yeah, I took the role. And that's why like we were only shut down for 2 months, I believe. And then when gyms were allowed to be open, like it was basically like just clean your shit when you come in, clean your shit when you leave. That was the only rules.
Speaking of roles, the affiliate, you were let me get the right word right. I'm sure you don't even know what the word is. It's changed so many fucking
times. I can tell you what it is now.
You were the affiliate leader job at CrossFit, field team representative, and I know that they've worded it, and I'm sorry for ambushing you with this. I know that they worded it that they weren't renewing your contracts, but basically that's a friendly way of saying 16 people were just fired a few days ago from CrossFit Inc. And they were the field team representatives for the United States of America.
Yeah, I mean, yes, we started off. It was Dave's idea for this role during his brief tenure as the CEO.
And do you know who was tasked with starting that program? Who Dave tasked with starting the program?
As far as I know, Danielle, she's the one that reached out to us.
No.
Oh, no shit.
You're talking to him, yeah.
Oh.
And it was, and I put Matt Bishel and Tyson Oldroyd in charge of it.
Okay.
Do you know who Tyson is?
I know. I fucking love Tyson. Yeah.
Yeah, great dude. Great. They're both great guys. Anyway, okay. I don't think Danielle had. I'm trying to think when Danielle came in. I think when we started. I don't remember. I think it went from Tyson and Matt. Then it got transferred to Jimmy Letchford, and I think Danielle took it over after the company was sold.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
anyway,
that makes sense.
Yeah.
That's what.
Okay.
But yeah, so we were affiliate reps, and then we became CrossFit ambassadors was the term after the games. And then, yeah, they just told us yesterday that they're not renewing the contract or
not yesterday, like 3 days ago?
Yeah. No, they told us last week. Sorry.
Last week, but very recently.
Yeah.
Okay. And why did they do you have any idea why? Were you doing a shitty job? Were you like out driving around in the using the CrossFit gas card and filling up your card? Why were all you guys let go?
I'm not above doing that, but I just honestly think they're wanting to go a different direction with it. Maybe do something different. It just honestly, from a business standpoint, this is my opinion. It really makes no sense for us to be there when they hired 4 to 6 reps to be like the full-time job. We were always part-time.
Right. And I think I saw a post. Gary Gaines made a post that showed like this other team that was simultaneously working alongside your team. Did any of those dudes get fired?
No. So
that's the new team. You guys were replaced with a smaller team.
Yes.
That's under Austin and not under Danielle.
Right. But we were at the games. We all got, we were all under Austin at the games.
Okay. So they transferred you all under Austin.
Yeah.
But then the ones that were eventually let go were all the ones who had originally worked with Danielle.
It's super convoluted. Some of the original reps got jobs as the full-time reps.
Oh, okay.
Does that make sense? So that's why
it's not that cut and dry.
No. Yeah, it's not cut and dry at all.
But either way, a shit ton of 16 people got let go is what I heard.
I don't know if it's 16. I think it's less than that. It's whoever the ambassadors were that didn't become the full-time reps.
Part of me thinks that they should just ditch all those dudes, everyone, and invest that money into making media. Like that affiliate commercial I made, that cost 87 cents to make.
Yeah, and that
you
was
know what I mean. And so like you could make a video every single day for the affiliates instead of having affiliate reps. And if I was an affiliate, I'd want that. Like I'd get rid of all those dudes. Save the money.
Yeah, I could see that case.
Yeah.
I can see that.
Or just get rid of one dude who just makes a lot of money and keep all the others. You could do it any way you want.
Well, I think, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you can keep 10 of the fucking grunts and get rid of the top dog, or get rid of the 10 grunts. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah,
I use that money to actually do stuff that spreads the message every single day. That's what I do.
Yeah. I mean, I think there's a big improvement for media production and content. It's just as far as frequency, for sure. I do think affiliate owners like to have somebody they can talk to that kind of straddles that line of HQ/I'm your bro affiliate owner.
Sure.
I think there's value in that as well. I think there's value in like when I say these young guys, because I'm old as fuck, but if you're a relatively new affiliate owner, there's big time value in finding a mentor, like somebody to tell you not to.
I don't think that mentor should work at CrossFit Inc. though.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Here's the thing. I hear what you're saying. I just think that the truth is, like, if you're hungry, I can hold your hand and you'll feel better. But if I leave you and go pick food for you, you'll feel worse, but there's more chance you'll be successful and survive because I'm not picking food for you. And so I would use that metaphor to say, get rid of all those people, start making media, and people's feelings might be hurt, but the truth is in the long run, it'll be better for them. You know, the company used to be described for many years. Greg would tell us we are a media team. Mm-hmm. Or we're a media company. We're a media company. We're a media company. And we had 4 primary teams. We had media, games, training, and affiliates. Now there is no media. Truly there is no media department. There's basically just like a fucking copy machine and a couple cameras. I mean, just to be completely honest. And it's called a marketing team. And so they outsource everything. And it's just, the whole thing has changed. I'm having trouble reconciling it in my own head because they fucking need a media team. They will not be successful doing outside marketing for CrossFit Inc. They will not. These are and I want to propose one more thing to you while I'm on my high horse.
I love it.
There's water called Perrier, and it's a fucking French brand or whatever the fuck it is, and that's why we like it. There's Evian, and I don't know where that water comes from, but that's why we like it. And there's Gucci, and it's from Italy, and that's why we like it. Those brands aren't trying to be like other, like if I found out that was a fucking Icelandic brand, I would fucking Gucci, I would like it less. And in the furry jackets they make in Iceland, I love those. I don't need them to be inclusive of people fucking in India. I don't want, if I find out they're manufacturing those in India, I'm bummed. CrossFit is a fucking American brand. It is a fucking American brand. Embrace it. The Hero Wads are all going to be American military guys. It's okay.
Yeah, and we shouldn't apologize for that.
No, and people should love it. If you're fucking in the Ecuadorian army, you don't get a fucking Hero Wad because half your fucking army works for the fucking cartel, and it's not an American brand. Start your own shit. Start Cartel Fit because that shit would be cool too. But they're going to fuck this thing up if they don't fucking start getting back to their base. Like, look, you found like this whole story on accident. I didn't like script this out in my head. This whole story is about a mill guy with a successful fucking affiliate who was looking for something and CrossFit saved his life. It's the full circle. If you're in the United States military, you want to go to the United States military, you should be doing CrossFit if you want to be the best soldier possible, because currently it's the best thing for GPP known on the planet. And then afterwards, when you get out, if you need a community and a place to heal and a place to be around good people and a place to stay fit and stay out of trouble, come back to CrossFit. And then maybe if you're capable, you'll start a CrossFit gym that turns into a kettlebell manufacturing company that turns into cardboard box. And it's like, it's so obvious what the story is. This is a fucking American company. America is Chinese is an ethnicity. Armenian is an ethnicity. These countries are also their own ethnicities. That's not what's going on in here in America. America is a way of life. It's a mindset. It's a philosophy. It's an ideal. Yeah. It's perfectly okay for CrossFit Inc. to be American, and it will still flourish all over the world. Anyway, that's how I feel. I'm open to you pushing back on it too. If you're like, no, Sevan, it's a little extreme. And like,
no, hey, listen, you'll never get pushback on me.
No, you can.
from promoting American idealism across the fucking country, or across the world.
Well, yeah, across the world. I would never expect Gucci to be like, fuck you. I'd never want Gucci to be like, oh, we're going to make bags in Compton to help people. Nah, yeah. I prefer you just keep doing it in Milan so I can like be like, look at my shit.
Yeah. To me, and this is solely opinion of Dale King, CrossFit needs to be a brand worth fucking following to inspire guys and women out there who want to change and do good in their neighborhoods. And to do that, you have to be willing to sharpen your blade to cut through bullshit, to inspire those people who want to raise that fucking flag and do good. And I mean, I'm unapologetically loyal and faithful to Greg for what he's given me. And when I signed paperwork to be an affiliate, I expected nothing from CrossFit other than to use the name.
Can you tell me how you met him?
So we met on a Zoom during COVID. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sure I was on that call too.
You were.
I don't know. Wow.
Yep. You were. Yep.
And then how did you take he was sitting down with 20 or 30 affiliates every day. How did you then, because now you guys are friends.
Yeah.
Now he talks about you. Now he talks about you like you're a friend.
Which is fucking wild to begin with. But yeah.
How did that happen? What happened to the next level? Did he call you after, or you called him, or?
So the very first Zoom, this is what was been recounted to me afterwards, is there was me and another guy named Josh Honeycutt that were on the same Zoom together. And
yeah, incredible guy.
Josh is from Detroit.
Incredible guy.
And one of my fucking good friends.
Who was also just laid off.
Yeah. And Greg was like, I don't know what I'm going to do with the rest of these meetings, but I know I want to have follow-on meetings with Josh and Dale. And so then we did another Zoom call where he was just basically like, I want to hear more about your guys' stories is really what it was like. And then he gave me his phone number during that Zoom call. And then, dude, like it was the month later, the whole sale went down. So I had his number and I was like, fuck, man, like this guy's going to jump off a fucking bridge. Like I'm concerned about his well-being.
Oh, Greg's, you were concerned because he lost his baby.
Yeah. So I just, this is what I was thinking, so I just started hammering texting him. I was like, hey man, you okay? How can I help? Like what's going on? And we just always reach out to him. And then, this is a great Greg story. So November of 21, last year, November of 21, Greg reaches out and he's like, hey, I'm going to be in Columbus. I'm going to visit an affiliate. Would you want to come up? And I was like, fuck yeah, I'm coming up. So he flies his private jet. And
come get you.
No, not me, because he thought I just live right next door, And so they're going down, flying from wherever, and then he has the jet rerouted to Detroit at the last minute to pick up Josh.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome.
And you gotta understand,
I talk to Josh once in a while too. I don't know if I just forgot that story or.
Dude, and so you gotta understand too, so Josh and I we're HQ employees at this point. Yeah. This is November. Like Greg's.
Yeah. It's a little sketchy. You could lose your job seeing to hang out with Greg, hanging out with the big bad racist.
So, and Josh and I were both there, but we didn't tell each other that we were going to be there because I didn't want to tell anybody. I was like, fuck, if they
yeah. I get scared for the employees, like when they show up to like one of his talks and shit. I'm like, oh fuck.
Yeah.
Should I crop you out of this photo?
So then they show up and Josh gets out of the SUV. He's like, motherfucker, what are you doing here? And so and that's how Josh and I are. And
I don't think it's like that anymore, though.
No,
right?
It's not.
Like under the Dawn regime and with Dave back, it's like it's all good, right? Yeah,
I don't feel that way at all whatsoever.
Yeah. I think that's been squashed. Yeah.
And so met Greg in real life, face to face. Then he was always, he had me come out a couple times and the whole thing. So
yeah, I've been to a couple parties in San Diego with you.
Yeah, which is nuts, man. Like wild.
Can you believe that those things happen with that? Like, by the way, when I say parties, these are like, this isn't like a party, like people are handing out Molly and like we're meeting girls. This is like Stanford PhD MDs speaking to the group, former heads of state, fucking, the smartest of the smart people coming out to talk about science. What is science? It's nuts.
People ask me like, what goes on? Like, what are you doing? I'm just like, I can't even give you an adequate description of the brain power that is involved in that room. And like what I'm doing there to begin with. But yeah, dude, I'm excited to see where, what takes shape and where it goes from here. But
if anyone wants to dig into one of the most fascinating men ever who was at this party, his name's Roger Gimbel. Gimbel or Kimball?
Kimball. It's a skateboard dude or?
No. This is the guy who's like, this is probably the greatest living art critic.
Today. And he looks like an art critic.
Yeah. But part scientist, part philosopher, this Roger, he's at the new Roger Kimball. God, why do I always want to call him Gimbal? Maybe because cameras use gimbals.
Yeah.
Started reading one of this guy's books. This guy is fascinating. And when you dig into this guy's wiki page, Greg has befriended this guy, and this guy was at the event also. Are you going to the event in February?
Yeah, I'm planning to. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. We get to hang out again.
Yeah. At this point, I'm just like, let me know. I'll be there.
So basically, what happened is when Greg sold the company, you reached out to him to make sure he was okay because you knew how traumatic this must have been for him. Something that he's invested his entire life into for 20 years and then, or 30 years, and then he had to sell it.
Yeah. I was just
really empathetic of you. That's really, because it was hard as shit for him. And yet I bet you very few people thought to reach out to him.
Well, I just was projecting how I would feel.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like if fucking all my identity and everything I sold and was gone and it wasn't under the best circumstances and fucking people were turning their back on me left and right, it would hit me to my core,
It's crazy how people turn their back on people over stuff that like, it's so sad. Even to this day, I read comments and it's stuff like that. No one ever says specifically what's wrong. Everyone's just always like, I don't want to know Dale King is a nice guy. I'll decide if he's a nice guy. Tell me about the time you saw him pull over his car and help a bird across the street that was injured. And then I'll tell you whether he was a nice guy or not. And no one ever says anything about him. If you were to talk about the specifics of who Greg Glassman is, you'd think he's the fucking savior. But instead, people just say the people who are negative towards him, they can't say anything specific. It so bums me out.
Yeah.
So bums me out how it's lazy. It's so lazy.
Or just like,
what's your problem with him? What happened? He slapped your mom? Like, what'd he do?
Right. I don't know, man. That whole time.
He's not nice to my mom. I'll decide if he's nice to your mom or not. Tell me what he fucking did.
Right.
Because you don't know.
Man, and
he's rich. He's really rich now. he's really, really, and he's very happy.
Yeah.
The happiest I've ever seen him. Most relaxed I've ever seen him.
Yeah. And then just like, on a random Sunday, we're strolling through his fucking olive tree orchard.
Yeah.
That was wild for me. Yeah, man, but I was just like, he created the thing that has given me joy, happiness, and fulfillment in my life.
Yeah, me too.
And I'll never fucking forget that. And to me, it's that simple. I don't get the other side of it, but.
Why do you still stay a CrossFit affiliate?
Because I'm loyal to the brand, and I'm loyal to what Greg created.
Yeah.
And honestly, I have a real fucking problem with people who don't do that. Like
meaning people who own a CrossFit gym but they don't pay their affiliate fees.
Yeah. Yeah. I just don't understand that. Like, I don't see how, and I guess you can really tell a lot about somebody if they do that. It's like, it shouldn't be a money thing. It's like 2-3 members that will take care of that for the course of the year.
It's where the integrity piece comes in, right? Like integrity, I would use it synonymously with honesty, but like, just be honest. Like, or you could call your gym I Stole CrossFit. But other than that, you're basically using the methodology and you're not paying your membership fee.
Yeah. And explain to me how that, this is what I'm saying. Like, fuck it. I had a real issue with trying to get people to come back to CrossFit who wanted to resign their affiliation.
Okay.
It's like,
was that one of your jobs when you were to call the gyms that had left?
It wasn't a job per se, but it was just like, if it was something that needed to be done in order to save affiliates. And a part of me was just like, if they don't want to fucking raise the flag, we don't want them. It's that simple.
Well, that's what Greg would have said for sure. Greg's like, I'm not begging anyone to come back. Fuck you.
Well, and that's a terrible fucking business decision. You know what I mean?
What is just to say, fuck you, I'm not going to beg you to come back.
Right. But I'll tell you what, you'll be a hell of a lot.
Maybe it adds brand value, No,
but what I'm saying is, like, on paper, if you're now a private equity company that owns the new thing, you got to go and get everybody because it's going to help pay the bills. But this thing is so unique and so weird. We can't try to go get everybody because we have, like, the weak buffalo need to be culled from the herd every now and then in order for the herd to be stronger. And you can only find out who's going to ride with you when you're at your absolute worst sometimes.
And hey, another interesting thing too is there's two, like you're looking to see what you can give back to your community, and there's other people who are seeing what they can take from their community. And so those people, like, why would you beg those people who are takers to stay?
Yeah. Well, and so Craig, I don't want to throw Craig Howard under the bus, but Craig and I talk about
he throws himself under the bus enough. Let's do it.
Craig and I talk about this a lot. It's like, there's some members you don't want in your gym, and you should never, like, when they leave, you should understand that it's a part of their journey, and you don't want them back because they're gonna bring the total energy down.
Right. They poison the well.
Yeah, by virtue of them being there.
Right.
And so let's not cater to them.
You want the member, when they walk in there and someone's peed on the toilet seat, they wipe it with at best, they wipe it with the toilet paper. At worst, they don't do any, or in the middle ground, they don't do anything. And at worst, they come out and they yell across the gym, "There's pee on the toilet seat always at this gym. Doesn't anyone clean this bathroom?"
Right.
And you're like, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we can't, that's what I'm saying. I guess, like, I wish we were very focused on what we're doing and who we want to attract. Because, like, and I'll get on my high horse now. It's like, we're fucking wasting time. There's 107,000 people that die a year from fucking drug overdose.
In the U.S.?
In the U.S. per year. It's the number one leading cause of death in age 18 to 45.
Oh, my God. Is it mostly dudes, too?
I couldn't tell you the sex breakdown.
Damn.
But
That's nuts.
It's the fucking number one leading cause of death in age 18 to 45. We also happen to have a very fucking great answer to that fucking problem in CrossFit. And we need more affiliates who want to take on that mission and want to go help and get fucking paid for it, because that's how they'll sustainably do it.
From 2009 to 2019, drug overdose rates for males 35 to 44 increased 25%. Oh God, and that's not even it's probably skyrocketed since then. Drug overdose death among males aged 15 years and over were highest for those aged. God.
It's 100, like last stats were 107,000 people a year. So
that's when people are in their strongest. That's your strongest age. 18 to 45 is when you're just a savage.
And now, like, let me unveil some more conspiratorial theory.
Please.
Where we get fentanyl from?
Our friends in China.
And like it's killing the military age male bracket. We're rotting from inside.
Oh. Did you see when I had Dale Saran on?
Yes.
And basically, yeah, the U.S. military is fucking. It's taking a blow.
Yep.
They're like short 1,400 or 1,500 fucking pilots.
In that age group, like in the number one killer of that age group is now drug overdose.
So basically on every front, this hurts basically our military readiness.
This is a national security issue. Obviously it's a healthcare issue.
Right.
But it's becoming a national security issue.
Right. If we don't have a country to have a national health issue in, we better secure it before. Yeah. Fuck. There's a hierarchy, a sequence of events that have to happen in the right priority for everything to exist.
Right. Yeah. And so, like,
is it scary? Do you get scared thinking about it?
I don't. I will go down and spend some time, and I just have to pull myself out of that rabbit hole to realize I can do what I can do. And I'm not. It's not a matter of like. And this is one thing Greg told me. It's like you don't really give a shit about trying to save 50,000 people. Just make an impact for 5.
Right. Well, he used to say that to all the affiliates, like when he would, hey, we are not going to save everyone. We're not even going to save mostly everyone. We're only going to save the ones that come to be saved, that get on the lifeboat, right?
Yeah. And I think like, so now if we take, there's 107,000 people die in a year of drug overdose. Suicide is the second leading cause of death for veterans. So we are in the midst of just this storm of fucking annihilation that could be fixed with community and CrossFit.
Yeah. And closing our border.
Yeah.
By the way, that's what makes us a country, people. For anyone who thinks it's smart, that we're not a country like, why don't we just abandon the whole idea of being a country?
I 100% agree. Obviously, the border's a joke, but we got to take care of what's inside of our border as well.
Right. Of course.
And that's because it's real easy. It's a real political thing to say secure the border. I agree.
I don't mean it like that either. I just mean to stop the drugs from coming in.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I'm not worried. I'm truly not worried about the people. By the way, I'm worried about what the people are bringing, the shit that comes with them.
Yeah.
I love immigrants. Fuck, I love cheap labor. My dad came here and was cheap labor for many years for people. My whole family came over here as immigrants. I was cheap labor. I used to work $4.25 an hour. Wasn't even an immigrant. Everyone should work for cheap at some point in your life. Do your part.
Take your internship.
Yeah.
No, man. But I don't know. I don't even know where I was going with that, but it's just frustrating.
Well, it's the business you're in now. You're in the business of saving people's lives now, specifically focused on addiction.
And I think we could just.
Well, it's not even the business you're in. It's a byproduct of what you do. You help people, and so those are people who get helped.
And then they turn around and help other people.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I think,
how do you get paid for it? When you say you get paid for it, well, like if I'm an affiliate and I'm listening to this and I'm like, ooh, I want to do what he's doing.
Here's exactly what you do. Within your town, there has to be a counseling or addiction treatment center somewhere or close by. So what you do is you go immediately reach out to the executives on that squad. Even better is hopefully one of those employees works out at your gym.
Right.
If not, do the reach out and say, hey, CrossFit can be an incredible force multiplier for somebody's recovery. I would love to show you how we do that. And then you just give a month free membership to all the executives on the squad. You get them involved. You get them to see the magic for their first hand. You don't charge them anything because you can never explain the value of CrossFit without experiencing it. And you need the decision makers on board that are going to be the ones that approve this down the road.
Right.
So you give them a free month membership, and you just say it's completely trial. If you guys don't think it'll work, and if you don't like it, you didn't pay for it, and I'm not out anything other than my time.
Right.
Once they fall in love with it, because they inevitably will, you then say, hey, I would love to do CrossFit classes for your clients in your facility. There's two ways we can do that. We can do it at your facility if you have a gym. If not, we can give you off class hours for you to bring your folks here, and I'll charge you a flat rate of X, whatever that is, and we'll start with one class a day, 5 days a week, and we'll let it grow from there.
How many people are in rehab at any one time in the United States?
Oh, shit, man.
There's a stat on that? How many gyms are there in the United States, CrossFit gyms? 3,000, 4,000?
I don't know.
2,500? Caleb's peeping to see how many people are in rehab. You can't just ask Google that, how many people are in rehab?
And here's why. It's like, so insurance pays for treatment, right? So even if like here, like no one can afford private insurance, so they're on Medicaid. So their services are being reimbursed by Medicaid. And so why can't a CrossFit class, 1 hour of a CrossFit class, be the same thing?
So it said at any one time there's 3.7 million people in rehab. Affiliate map. Let me see the CrossFit affiliate map just to get just a rough idea of. Okay, 4,000, 5,000. It looks like there's probably like about 5,000 affiliates in the United States, let's say. And if every one of those affiliates has 100 people, what is that? That's 50,000. That's 500,000. It means there's 500,000 active gym members in the United States who go to CrossFit gyms. And there's 3.7 million people in rehab. Fucking A. Hey, did you see that number too? $42 billion spent on rehab.
Oh,
we could fix all of it for $2 billion. You could keep the other $40 billion. If you put all those people in a CrossFit.
Well, so here's what you even do.
It's so frustrating to see it.
That's where I guess is where I'm coming at we every affiliate, and I guess that's the issue is like, as an affiliate owner, don't fucking wait on HQ to do anything. You go do it.
Right. 30,000 residential treatment centers in the U.S. at 100 beds is 3 million beds. I know, it's fucking nuts. When you start doing that, yeah. Okay, sorry, go on. Don't wait for anyone. No one's coming to save you.
Yeah, exactly. No one's coming to save you. Your gym, you're in possession of an incredibly powerful weapon to combat this. You just have to understand how to operate that weapon and point it in the right direction.
This is a quote from you. Well, it's not a direct quote. I'm paraphrasing. You said in your TED Talk, nobody is coming to help you, but you do have the power to change people from tax-paying liability to tax-paying asset. And then you go on to say that small business is the backbone of America. And once you find how to once making a profit aligns with your purpose, you'll be off to the races. Can you explain that line to me?
Right.
Aligning profit and purpose.
So if you look at like a Venn diagram, right?
Yeah.
So if
the 3 circles and kind of all over that. Yeah.
So if all I give a shit about is money, it's this circle, right? There'll be certain decisions I will make that will help me make the most money. That may not be the best overall decision if on this circle over here is my purpose, what gives me fulfillment, what gives me satisfaction, what lets me know when I'm on my deathbed that I will have lived a good life. So where those circles overlap, that's where I want to focus on.
Right.
And so it can't be all about the money, but so this is the greatest thing I've ever lived by. In order to do good for others, you must do well for yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah. One of my friends told me spend 90% of your time working on yourself and then 10% giving to others. But working on yourself, like we already established, is not playing Xbox.
100% right. Maybe PlayStation, just not Xbox. But so here's an example of that, right? So at the packaging company, if all I gave a shit about was them working 80 hours and not allowing for flexible work schedule, for the recovery to come first, to go work out, to do this, to go do that, on a profit sheet, that's going to be a liability. But it makes me feel better that I'm going to play a role in their life that 5 years from now, they're going to be like, because of that place, I was able to get helped out.
Right.
That's where finding the sweet spot of purpose and profit align. But go ahead. Sorry.
Would you say you stumbled on your purpose on accident?
Oh, fucking 100%. I am the definition of an accidental entrepreneur. There's no way I would have planned this out. We hired people that weren't in recovery beforehand, and it was great. We were making money, la la la. But this is the purpose. This gives me fulfillment. I see people, like, I'm around people who are grateful to be here, playing a small role in helping them out. I feel good, man. It makes me feel good. Sorry,
when I come away from a mic, you can barely hear me. Sorry.
No, you're good.
Can you hear me okay now, Damien? Sorry. And feeling good's important. So you're getting stimulated in every way because your company's growing, which is always exciting. It's kind of like this podcast. It's like every day there's something new.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's like, holy shit. And then you're also stimulated because you're helping people. And then also you can put food on your table.
Mm-hmm. And I tell you what, at this point, I'd probably be an SES, a senior executive service within the Department of Energy, making, I don't know, $175K a year, which would put a lot more money in my bank accounts than I have now, but I'd be a fucking miserable person.
Right. Right. And probably spend less time with your kids.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, it's nuts.
But we as affiliate owners all have this opportunity if we want, and it's not for everyone, man, because it's fucking hard. It is hard.
What opportunity? Oh, to have all of those things, to have income, stimulus, and fulfillment.
Yep.
Yeah. And granted, sometimes the stimulus comes in really hard challenges. Like it's not all just hunky dory, but it's like, hey, we're out of cardboard, and like there's no cardboard within 1,000 miles of here. What are we gonna do? And shit gets weird.
There's a great documentary on Netflix came out. It's called Stutz. It's about like
someone else was just talking about this. The shadow. You were talking about it, Caleb?
Yeah, I brought it up a couple times.
So
really good movie.
I think everybody should go watch this movie. And in it, he talks about the three aspects of reality. The three aspects of reality are: 1, there will always be pain. 2, there will always be uncertainty. 3, there will always be constant work. No matter what you do in life, you cannot escape those 3 tenets of reality.
Pain, uncertainty, and work.
Constant work. So you have a very finite time on this earth, so you might as well make your life's work pointed in that direction.
What's that stand for, Stutz?
It's the name.
Last name.
Yeah.
That's the movie you told Caleb where Jonah Hill's getting like his fucking brain worked on by the shrink.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, Jonah Hill's interviewing his therapist.
Oh, that's the one with the shadow body.
Yeah.
The shadow. Yeah.
Shadow.
Yeah. That was another great point.
Yeah. Listen, nobody better talk to my shadow. I can hate that shit. I told this story where I was at the beach. Caleb explained to me what your shadow person is. And I was trying to understand it. And I told him a story about how I took my shirt off at the beach and someone's like, oh, you have a dad body. I'm like, this motherfucker talks straight to my shadow. Don't talk to my shadow. He didn't want to be seen. He's like Bill Henniger.
But yeah, man, like, so this hit me like, it's like, that's the answer. No matter what I do or where I'm at in life, I will always have to deal with that.
Pain, uncertainty, and constant work.
No matter if you have $5 million in your bank account or $5.
Yeah.
You cannot escape that. And then I thought about that a little bit more. It's like, and of course, the answer is always going to be CrossFit, but what teaches you how to deal with pain? A very hard fucking workout. Right? So you can't, if you cannot escape pain, you better be trained in pain.
Right.
And how to deal with it.
Right.
Uncertainty. The charter of CrossFit is dealing with the unknown and unknowable.
Right.
So no matter what comes out of the hopper, you will always feel confident that you have the ability to deal with it.
Right.
And then constant work. I mean, that's what
there's no homeostasis. You're either getting better or worse.
That's it.
Yeah, there's no homeostasis. Yeah.
So what better method or avenue to deal with those three aspects of reality other than CrossFit?
Yeah. Well, thank you. This is good.
Thank you, brother.
Yeah. What a cool life you have.
Thank you.
Yeah. It's awesome.
It's no fucking Caleb, but you know what I mean? It's
Caleb's
living
part
in equity. It's great.
Yeah. I always tell Caleb's part of an equity program. Every day is the same. Everything's the same. He was telling me how basically it doesn't matter how good the food is or how bad it is. You eat the same 7 things every week. I'm like, oh my God.
On repeat.
This dude has a list of shit he wants to eat when he gets home.
I've been there.
What's wrong with him, Dale? You're gonna have to send him to Portsmouth after this.
Hey man, you'll have a prime spot here, bud. Anytime you want.
Anyone ever sleep in the gym?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like you've had some people like shit's getting crazy. Like
no, not that crazy. More from they'll ask me what the code is, so they don't have to drive home on a Saturday night.
Oh, okay. Hey, what is the deal with all the addicts around? So like when you have parties, is there alcohol there or no?
That's a great question, man. We actually just had our Christmas staff party on Saturday. And it's something that we're always very cognizant of. Yeah. And before everybody started working here, like I've got a kegerator and there's always, beer in the fridge. Yeah. And I was like, oh shit, what's the protocol here? So I just asked my buddy and he was like, hey man, as long as you're just not smoking crack in front of me, like I can handle you drinking a beer.
But that shit is all a slippery slope.
For sure.
A younger Sevan, I would have told the people, fuck you, suck it up. But now the 50-year-old me, like imagine if your kid was an addict and he was recovered. You wouldn't want him working at a place where fucking everyone's sitting around throwing back beers. Yeah.
And then when we, I love a good beer. So what we decided is just like, we went to an axe throwing place. Yeah. And it was like BYOB. And everybody had a great time for like an hour and a half. And then they just kind of know like, okay, it's
those of us who haven't hit recovery yet.
Right. Yeah. And but we talk about it and that's because that's the only way you can deal with it. So, because the last thing, like, we don't want to make anybody feel uncomfortable. I mean, that's the bottom line.
Based around their addiction.
Right.
We'll make you feel uncomfortable working out and talking some shit to you. Oh, based around your addiction, we'll try to make it smooth for you.
Yeah, for sure.
I guess I'll see you in February.
Looking forward to it, man.
Yeah, can't wait to it. Thanks for your time. I know this went really long today.
Dude, thank you for having me on, brother.
Yeah, anytime. Anytime.
Caleb, my friend, I just did this to see Caleb for 3 hours. That's all I see.
Did you send him that sweatshirt?
Yeah. Well, he bought it,
dude.
Oh, awesome.
I had to. It's a dope hoodie. And then I got the hat too.
The rehab gym has all their shit branded like Coors.
Kind of dope.
We're bipolar. They sent me a bunch of the Doc Spartan stuff too. So I've been passing around to like everybody I work with, and they just use it up. It's awesome. Good. Thank you, brother.
They really appreciated it. So thank you for sending all that out to us.
Before we go, I'm going to.
Oh, there it is. There it is. Paper Street Coffee. Their cold brew. Paper Street Coffee. Very nice. Oh, how are you with, can people reach out to you if they want to know more?
I would love that.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's easy to find. Dale King or on Instagram, DM him. Just type into Google Dale King Instagram CrossFit.
Yeah, and especially for affiliate owners, if you like, we're putting together like a seminar series teaching affiliate owners how to work with behavioral health centers. Just reach out to me. I'll send you the manual, and you can take a look at it. And if you ever want to come down here in Portsmouth and see it firsthand, we'd love to have you.
Awesome, brother. Thank you. Oh, Gabe's going to cry. All right.
Love you guys.
Bye. Ciao. Thank you.
Love you, brother.
I want to know about all his products. What is it? Or what's the ointment he makes? Do I need ointment? I don't think I need ointment.
It's like this. It's almost so it's like a deodorant stick, but it's like
I have all my limbs. I don't have any prosthetics. Where would I put that?
I use it for like my blisters. Like when I get like when I have tears on my hands and stuff, I'll like pop it and then I'll cover it in the ointment. Or like when my hands get really dry, because my hands have been getting really dry lately.
Yeah, my knuckles crack sometimes. Yeah.
I use it anything that's dry, or apparently you can use it on like tattoos and stuff after you've gotten them. Like instead of using Aquaphor, you can just take the stick and lather it on there, and it's supposed to keep it protected and moist and shit.
What's it feel like? Is it like Vaseline?
Not as viscous. It's kind of like it's kind of more like a lotion. I feel like it smells really good.
It eventually rubs in.
Mm-hmm.
Would you put it on your lips as chapstick?
You probably could,
but you haven't. It's for chafing. I don't know if I can't remember if I've ever chafed in my life. I'm not sure I even know what chafing is. I guess sometimes
you can use it on rips, cuts, scrapes, scars, burns, rashes, tattoos, and more. Yeah, it works really well. He has a bunch of other stuff too. He's got like ball powder and mustache.
Ball powder.
Ball powder, yeah.
It's like baking powder. It's like baby powder.
Yeah. Sunscreen too.
Did you hear that?
What was it?
I hear someone crying. It's probably Ari. Breaks my heart. All right. Fuck, that flew by.
He's so easy to talk to. He's such a nice guy.
Do you like having the mill guys on, or are you like, fuck, I talk to the mill guys
it's really
all
cool.
day? Okay.
I like talking to him. I met him at Mac and Syndicate when he was doing that affiliate stuff.
Yeah.
And he was just automatically so nice to me. We just sat next to each other. I had no idea who he was. And like immediately he's like, "Hi, my name's Dale." Excuse me. I was like, holy shit, he's a really nice guy.
Hey, when he shows up at Greg's house for these parties, everyone loves him. Like there's all these fucking high profile, high powered fuckers around, and people gravitate to him.
He's so personable.
Yeah.
And he's just so nice.
Tomorrow we have on this guy, Andy Holmes, and he might be the leading expert in the world. I think he's been doing it longer than anyone alive has been doing it. His company, testing supplements. So Andrew's going to be on with us. So we can just ask him anything we want. It's going to be great. He'll explain to us the whole process, how shit gets tainted, what the solutions are, but we can ask anything. I may even open up the phone lines if you guys have any questions. So we'll find out. He'll be able to tell us if these athletes are full of shit. Does that stuff really happen? It's going to be a dope show. I'm really excited. He is not, right? So what's he called?
Safe Sport. Is that what it's called?
Safe Sport. I think maybe you're right. Let me see. I forget. I need to do a little more research on them. But normally we don't have calls with people before they come on, but with this guy we did. There's so little safe, and it's 2 companies, right? Safe Sport and
Yeah.
oh, maybe I have an email. Let me look real quick. Now you got me curious.
Informed Sport. That's what it is.
Informed Sport. Okay.
Informed Choices. Informed Sport.
Yeah. Yeah, this is going to be cool.
That is going to be exciting.
We test, you trust. They have that. WeTestYouTrust.com.
That's the same company that tested that one athlete's supplements, and then she like sued CrossFit or something, didn't she? Or like,
is that the one where her name wasn't on it and her athlete number wasn't on it and her sex was wrong, but they still fucking are like, no, it's yours. Is
like,
it that one out of Australia? Do you remember that one?
I do remember that one, but I don't think it was her. I think this one, I think the one I'm thinking of, she got caught with like tainted supplements, and she's like, I don't take that. And then she got everything tested that she was taking by this Informed Sport company, and then they showed that it was like that her supplements were tainted.
And she sued CrossFit?
I don't know if she sued him. I shouldn't say that, but I think she like tried to appeal what was going on.
God, I'm so glad I don't have to worry about that. That must. Do I need ointment? Yeah, that's. Do I need ointment? I don't know if I need ointment. I don't think I need ointment. If you guys ever watching the show and you're like, Sevan needs some ointment, just let me know.
You probably use it on your hair, maybe.
No, my hair produces its own ointment.
Looking a little dry today.
Oh, there it is. Sorry, show's over. Bye. See you guys later. Spiegel, thank you. See you guys tomorrow. Bye.